Hello, everyone. My name is Jaden Williams. Welcome to the third episode of the Jaden Williams podcast. Happy New Year. Today, I'm especially excited because we have an incredible guest joining us, someone whose visual effects and humor have captivated millions, Nick Suriano, better known as NicsNite. If you don't already know, he's a creator who's built a massive following by blending gaming, high-quality visual effects, and comedy into something truly unique. Nick has over 5 million followers just from YouTube and TikTok alone, closing in on 2 billion views combined. Not only am I a huge fan of his and hold immense respect for what he's accomplished, but he was also one of the very first creators I connected with during our early days, back when I had just around 100,000 followers on TikTok. We've stayed connected and in each other's circles ever since. Nick and I not only create similar styled content, but also use the same editing software, follow the same VFX artists, YouTubers, and constantly compete to see who can share the latest VFX news faster to one another. There are few people I can relate to on a technical level when it comes to workflow quite like Nick. In today's episode, we'll dive into Nick's journey as a creator, exploring his background, creative process, the evolution of his limitless VFX skills, and how he manages burnout and tackles creative blocks. We'll also discuss the lessons he's learned throughout his career and what's next on the horizon for his content. This is going to be a fun and insightful conversation you won't want to miss. If you want to support the podcast, follow, like, and share the episode on YouTube, Spotify, or Apple Podcasts. I'd love to hear what you think about today's episode. Nick, thank you for coming onto the podcast.
Hey man, how's it going?
Hey, I'm doing good. It's an honor to have you on. I've known you for a few years now, which is like crazy to think about.
Quite a while, man.
Yeah, absolutely. You're like one of my like all-time longest like connections, or like the best way I can put is like coworkers on like TikTok or YouTube or
That's
whatever.
all I am, just a coworker, man.
No, I mean we're friends, but I just mean
It's okay. It's okay.
in the professional sense. In the professional sense.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, yeah, I definitely see you as a good friend, and I've known you for so long, and it's so cool to not only like in this like crazy like changing like industry of like this the short form content of YouTube, TikTok, Reels, Instagram Reels, Snapchat. I mean, the list goes on. Not only have you like gone through all that and fought your way through it, but you've like even like just thrived, and it's just incredible to see. And I'm just like, it's very heartwarming to have known you for so long and like to see you succeed.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate that, and likewise, it's been a pleasure and an honor to call you a friend, and this has been quite the journey we've been through together.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
know.
it's been nuts. It's been nuts.
It's crazy. Yeah, I think I was trying to like look back on it. I think I've known you since like probably around like me having like 100K on TikTok, like before YouTube or any of the other socials, like when I first started off. So it's been like a very long journey. But I wanted to kind of just like start things off with just asking you to tell us a little bit maybe just about your life, where you grew up, whether it be like school or hobbies, or how you started content creating in general.
Yeah. So I mean, I grew up in New Jersey, Jersey guy, Jersey Shore. Not like the show. I definitely, my lifestyle was not like the show at all. I was a filmmaker, so definitely I have the opposite lifestyle of that. So I spent I mean, content creation. I started my first YouTube channel in 2011,
Wow.
and that was because of Smosh and Freddie W. And
Do you have like
the
how
big
old were
inspiration.
you? Would you say like then?
I was 12
12 years
or
old.
12, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I was 12 years old, and that's when I started getting into I guess film and content creation. It was all done with my iPad. I didn't own a camera,
Yeah.
but slowly, the iPad turned into a GoPro, and then the GoPro turned into a DSLR, and now I'm back on the phone. I film most of myself on my phone now, which is wild. It all came like full circle.
Yeah.
Started with the iPad and Apple, and now I'm back to the phone.
That's
But
so funny. I'm like the exact same way, because like you see the cameras on phones nowadays. You're like, gosh, man. I mean, It's the
Dude, they're great.
I know. I'm so biased towards feeling like I'm like a real filmmaker, and I know I'm not, but I'm like, I don't want to commit to the phone, but I know it's such a good way of producing content.
It's like it speeds up the workflow
Hmm.
because just filming on the phone and not really having to worry. I mean, it's so hard because again, we got big into DSLRs. We grew up and we learned everything about ISO and aperture, and then you get to the iPhone and it's just like you just click a button and you record, and it's just so much easier,
Yeah.
and I don't have to put any thought into it. I can set up the phone. I have like a where is it? Yeah, there's like a tripod with a
Yeah.
MagSafe magnet. Just like put the phone on it,
Yeah.
film,
Yeah.
starting and watching Freddie W and Quarter Digital, and watching these guys start YouTube channels and grow. I mean, I didn't watch them start YouTube
Hmm.
channels, but I'm just saying I watched them early on,
Yeah.
and seeing them grow, and that was so inspirational, and I knew from a very early point in my life. I mean, when I was 11, 12, making those like uh skits with my iPad,
Hmm.
they were Assassin's Creed in real life,
Yeah.
like so they were gaming related
Yeah.
VFX, like VFX. There was like some apps that you could add like muzzle flashes and explosions, but I was doing VFX gaming videos when I was 12 years old, and I knew that ever since I was young that this is
Hmm.
what I wanted to be doing. And I it's just weird how I ended up here doing visual
Hmm.
effects, because then I was like, oh, that's kids stuff.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a director.
Yeah.
And then you slowly, and then I'm back at gaming VFX
Yeah.
videos. So it's wild how it works. I couldn't be happier. I'm super grateful. I'm super thankful. And yeah, it's just wild that 14 years ago I was doing this.
Yeah, it's so funny because I mean, I literally went through that same route. Like I was, loving content creators like, well over a decade ago, like Smosh, Corridor Digital, Freddie W, Video Copilot. And, they were these amazing outlets to like seeing these like incredible like VFX you could do at home, just, using what I've come to love, which is like Adobe. It's a little bit of a toxic relationship, but nonetheless, nonetheless, they've been there the whole time. But yeah, it's crazy to see like how far, just even your own perspective, right? My perspective, like just seeing how far you've gotten just with being a content creator. What made you go from making them, like, what was the thing that made you go from it being this hobby, this thing that you love to do? And sure, maybe like a lot of people growing up, like they wanted to be a YouTuber, they wanted to be a TikToker nowadays. What was the thing that turned it into a professional route?
Like the thing that kind of made me want to pursue it like professionally.
Like the thing that transitioned you from it being a hobby to now it's like, what was that period of you going from this is something I love to do, it's like, oh wow, now it's my full-time job?
Yeah, I feel like it happened so fast. It's one of those things that happens so fast that it's so hard to figure out like
Mm-hmm.
where that point is. But then at the end of the day, it really didn't happen that fast. Like I've been doing content for for a decade now, and it's been like a constant battle of trying to make this my full-time job and trying to make this thing work, and it seems crazy. And um so like that switch when it happened, I mean, it definitely happened over the past 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
At some point there was just like that pivot where I was like, wow, you could do this as a job. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It seems fake. And
Yeah.
yeah, so I think it seems so instantaneous, but it definitely was a gradual, like, all right, because I'm still doing stuff outside of content creation. I'm still doing video production for some people, and I think I'll always be doing that, just because that's what I love to do. I love to film, and doing the gaming videos is great. But like,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm kind of, to answer your question with a bunch of other things. I'm still doing other gigs outside of content
Yeah.
creation, so it doesn't really feel like, I don't know. I'm doing a bunch of stuff, so it
Sure.
really
Yeah.
doesn't feel like this is like the full time thing. And
But
yeah, I
you've
like,
made like the editing world like your work life essentially, though, even if
yeah,
it's not content creating, you're still
hmm,
in the VFX space, editing space, just the filmmaking, just that industry entirely. Um,
yeah,
I do want to ask though, like specifically with your NicsNite main VFX channel, gaming themed. You're getting into these crazy visual effects, which at times I see you. you get these out in such like a timely manner that I'm just like, this is insane. Uh, for one, I want to ask you before we get into like all the technicals of like programs or just any of the technicals behind your workflow. What's it like for one having your following on YouTube and TikTok? I think you're over, at least on those two, you're over 5 million, like with just those two platforms alone. Um, how do you manage that viewership of hundreds of millions of views a year, trying to keep up with for one, the gaming industry, let alone the social media industry? How do you manage trying to create content, in a scheduled manner, and keeping up with just the culture?
It's definitely a challenge. Putting out as many videos as we do, with the quality of visual effects that we do. It's definitely not just me. It's me. It's me and my younger brother.
Mm.
He started working with me. Uh, we're almost at 3 years now. For the past 3 years, my brother's been on NicsNite and helping me with visual effects and everything. Because I wouldn't be able to put out the amount of content without him. We kind of split the workload, which has been amazing. He's been a huge help, and we work together really well. So that's definitely helped propel NicsNite to the numbers that it is. But balancing everything and figuring out how to do it, it's just like, man, like there's no, I mean, I'm sure it's just like a constant battle of just constantly working and constantly trying to figure out new things and riding that content creator wave of, all right, it's over, I'm done, I got no views this month, and then hitting the high of the next month where you get you pop off again. And so it's there's no, it really is a balance of just trying to figure out this space. I'm still learning, I'm still figuring out this space and how it works, and I've been doing it for the past decade. It's forever learning with this, and it's a pain in my butt.
It can be very traumatic at times. It's like, it's never, it's just nonstop, like feeling like, okay, this could be the last month I'm relevant ever. And then just constantly trying to work at, trying to create new formulas.
It's like it's the hardest thing when it comes to content creation. That's something that I was not prepared for. Of it's great getting these numbers and pushing these views, and I'm super grateful for every page that we have and everything that's performed well. And I never want to come off as ungrateful when I talk about viewership and like, oh, this month's bad, and people are like, how is that a bad month? You know what I mean? Like same thing. I mean, I said it with you. You were like, oh, this month's bad, and I'm like, that is triple my viewership, Jaden. Like, how is that a bad month for you? So it's just like, it's like for us in our little world that we have per channel, it's just like, man, it's over. I mean, last time I talked to you was like, it was 3 weeks ago. I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, a few weeks ago.
And that I was in a rut. Like that's when I was riding that wave, and I was definitely at the bottom. It was like a month of just awful viewership. And I remember we hopped on a call, and sometimes that's what you need. Like sometimes at that point I was comfortable. With content creation, it's very easy to hit that like comfortability, be like, I'm coasting, like, you know what I mean, like it is what it is, like I'm shadow banned, like I'm not gonna, it is what and then when I talked to you and you were like, you're like, are you okay, like what's going on? And then I kind of like woke up and I was like, oh my god, he's right.
Well, that sounds so bad because I don't want you to like, I don't want Nick, this is no, it wasn't like it wasn't like that.
But like, no, but you quoted it. You were like, dude, you should quit. This is awful. Like you're gonna. No, but it's what I need, and I'm super thankful that we had that call, because if it wasn't for that call,
for everyone listening, I did not say that. He's kidding.
He didn't. You were super nice about it. You were just like, you basically were like, oh, like what's going on? Like what, why is your viewership down? We were trying to figure it out together. Yeah, and that really made me open my eyes. And I saw it, and I was like, man. And
like just to even say, because I know. Because, I mean, just from, your experience, my experience, you get very humbled very quickly after a few months of creating like content in a professional manner, that you realize, it's like, it's really not very consistent. So I knew like, I wanted to like figure out like with you, like, you're maybe down in a little rut for a minute. And I wanted to figure out, for one, like what caused that for you. And then, with me as well, like figuring out, okay, well, you're an amazing content creator. I want to know how something like that even happened. So like
Yeah.
that's how I view it, because I see you. I have like a high regard for you and your work, because you just make incredible VFX compared to, I mean, there's there's a big landscape of content creators, and I think you're on the much higher end of it.
Thank you, man.
So
I appreciate that.
yeah, I mean, it's always like trying to learn about, what causes, a low, what causes a high, for sure.
It's like, and that's, it's been like that forever. And every single time you're at that low with content creation, anybody who's been in content creation, they're gonna know the feeling. Like you're like, it's so hard to not base your mood off of how your
Mhm.
page is doing, and that's something I really
Mhm.
struggle with, because you just, you put so much work into your videos, and to see them flop and see them not perform well because you're in that little rut. And it happens with, like, they could be great videos, but if the
Mhm.
videos around it, and it's just you're down, it's like you're getting hit after hit after hit, and then you kind of just have to reevaluate. And when we talked that one time, I was kind of at the point where I was like, I was tapped out, like not tapped out like I was gonna quit, but I was tapped out where I was just like, ah, like I'm over this, because you keep hitting, and you keep hitting and hitting and hitting,
Mhm.
and nothing is popping off.
Yeah.
And then after that call, I seriously locked in. Like, I like had
Oh,
Logan
that's
over. He was
awesome.
like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "What is going on with you?" I was like, "Jaden said it's over." I was like, no, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Jaden cyberbullied me.
Yeah, Jaden cyberbullying me. We have to grow the page again. No, but like my brother Logan came over, and we crammed out. We worked our butts off. We looked at the videos, and we started bunching out videos.
Mhm.
And I'm at the top right now. Like
That's
I'm
awesome,
at
man.
the I rode the wave back up, and now we're
Yeah.
at the top of the wave right now. I'm holding it for as long as possible, because I know I'm going back down
Oh, I
soon. But
remember.
like,
No, no, that's. I mean, we all. I mean, again, yeah, we all have our highs and lows at times. I
yeah,
definitely. I mean, I totally saw like the last couple of videos you've had. I see them on Instagram. That's where most of my like algorithm of yours comes from. And yeah, they're getting like millions of views. I'm like, yeah, he's already. I knew that was coming in like a nanosecond. He just
yeah,
needs
so I'm
to.
super thankful we had that call, because like,
Oh
again,
yeah.
like it seriously helped me out. Like it really opened my eyes and let me see what was going on, and
Mhm.
it was a good push. It was the push that I needed
Oh, well,
to
that's
be
awesome to
like, all
hear,
right,
man.
like this isn't normal. Like
Yeah.
I gotta kick myself in the butt and
Yeah.
start going. So I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
I'll probably ask you for advice with the podcast channel in a couple months. But I even I even with my gaming channel, like when like my BeamNG like car crashes and stuff, that when that blew up,
Which was
like
crazy.
yeah,
Dude.
that and
Like,
I say it so humbly, like when it blew up in like it was either October, November of not 2024, but like 2023 was when it like blew up like
when you
crazy.
took over the whole internet, where there
Like
was nothing else on the internet besides Jaden. Like that was it. Like there was nothing else.
and I
Like
say that, and I say it confidently because it only lasted like 4 days, right?
it
And
was
so
crazy,
it
bro.
was insane. There has never, even when, maybe we can talk about this in a bit later, when like YouTube Shorts first came out, when it like YouTube Shorts released their new Shorts feature, they now have their own For You page. Creators like you, creators like me, like blew up within that next year or so. I
Mhm.
remember that I got like when that happened, like my YouTube channel just like blew up for the first time. I got like 100 million views in like a couple months, which was like insane. Just like getting 100+ million views, hundreds of thousands of followers. The gaming channel within a week's time earned 100 million views, and within a month I went from 40,000 subscribers to a million. And it was, and I'm bringing all this up because since then, that euphoria has never been the same. It's never been the same because and I
Oh
knew
man.
though, I did know that I'm like, okay, this is not going to last. I know it's not going to last. So I
Yeah, and
definitely,
that's
yeah,
that's just the hardest thing,
yeah.
adjusting after like that spike. I mean, again, like with my NicsNite page, I didn't hit nearly as crazy numbers as that, but it's one of those things where like back then I had that glitch series pop off,
Mm-hmm.
where I just took your idea and just ran with it, and just
See,
it was basically Jaden had like this video where he had a chair glitch, and I was like, that is the coolest thing. And me being gaming content creation, I was like, that, like, Jaden, how you do it? And then he just like showed
yeah,
me how to do it.
yeah.
And then I was like, the next day I had a video out just doing that. But
No,
no, but
I mean, no,
it
but
was it
you
was
actually, but the thing is, I mean, there's a lot of creators that and I use this term like loosely, that like steal or whatever. I mean, you for one, we're talking about, you were totally inspired, and you had your own total original version of it. There's a lot of people. I've had people, I don't know about you, I've had people who literally, like, two cases where they did the exact skit as me, same clothing, same background, same
I've
captions,
seen it. I
same
remember.
music. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
stuff like that is crazy. But I mean, and you've totally inspired me as well. You've taught me things, visual effects, that just even things in Blender that I'm like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. Or just, you've even told me about like how you track 3D shots with your phone. I'm like, oh my God, I don't have to spend 4 hours motion tracking in
Yeah.
some like $800 program. That's insane. So yeah, it's always a total back and forth, and I've definitely, you're one of the most inspiring creators that I've known for as long as I've known you for, which is
I
a
appreciate
good,
that, man. Right back
yeah,
at you.
of
I
course,
mean,
yeah.
everything you do is super inspiring. I'm still, it's like, my brother and I always watch your stuff, and it's just, it's wild to see the consistent viewership that you get across all platforms, and everybody knows your face. Like, you could just
Oh,
see, like, you've
thank you,
built up
man.
such a great audience where they know Jaden, you know what I
Oh,
mean? And
I
that's one of the
appreciate
things
it.
that we constantly struggle with, and we study, what you do, and we're like, this is just insane, because like, that's the one thing that I struggle with is having the audience know Nick. It's mostly just for my memes, because I'm not really speaking within my videos, and that's
Mm-hmm.
the pivot. After we had a call, that's the pivot that I made in my content
Mm-hmm.
recently. A lot of it is kind of skit based, not really skit based, but more of talking, and more of me,
Yeah,
and more of
more face, more
building my
maybe a little
character.
bit more
Yeah, more
dialogue.
more
Yeah,
face. Yeah.
yeah. Um,
So
yeah, I definitely think it's a great move. And I mean, just to, I mean, definitely give you some credit. You have built um, style for yourself just through the VFX alone. So I mean, even like, forget even the face for a second. I mean, you've built an audience catered to your kind of content, which is like, which is crazy. Like, I would even argue that, like, for me it's almost easier, because even if someone finds a video funny, that's funny of mine, and they see me again, they might be like, oh, it's that dweeb again. But with you, it's like, your content is so good that you don't even have to always necessarily show your face, or it can be your brother or what have you, and you can still get millions and millions of views. I mean, for crying out loud, you have like several videos. You have more than one video that has 100 million views, which is just outrageous to me.
thank you, man.
But to segue a little bit, I did want to talk about, we were just saying like how, you inspire me. I guess I inspire you a bit. What are the people in your life that not only inspire your kind of content, but I'm even referring to the people who inspired you, close to you, to pursue that content creating, whether it be family or friends, or whatever.
Yeah. So, oh man, I would think the people that are close to me that inspired me to do this, were definitely my parents. My parents were super supportive,
Oh,
of, early on, when I was doing the videos, and making the, the short films, and when I was putting, I used to be big, and I wanted to do fight scenes. I wanted to be a
yeah.
fight scene choreographer, and yeah, I would do those fight scenes, and like, we were putting holes in like the drywall in my house, and my
Oh
dad
no.
was like, I was so nervous, and I gave him a call, and he's like, yeah, it's fine. He's like, well, because he asked, he's like, what were you doing? And I was like, oh, we're filming a fight scene. And he was like, oh, it's okay. I was like, wow. I was like, are you okay? You feeling okay? So it's like, from the beginning, they were very
Wow,
supportive
that's awesome.
of this content creation journey,
Yeah.
and then kind of me, because they saw it me as me being a filmmaker, and then when I transitioned into like being like, oh, I'm gonna be a YouTuber, they were
Mhm.
like, okay, what's going on here?
They're like, all
You're
right,
in,
wait, hang on. You were
and
supposed to
then
be a
that
multi-million-dollar director. What content creator, YouTuber? I don't even know what that
that was
is.
that I think that was the hardest
Uh-huh.
transition, is right around, because I'm not a very smart person, when it comes to school. Like, school's not my thing. My parents knew school was not my thing,
Mm.
and I was a wrestler for my whole life. And their thing was like, gonna be a wrestler. You're gonna go to college
Yeah.
for film with your wrestling. That's the only way you're gonna get into college, because you're too stupid to do it the other way around. So like, it was like, wrestling into college, learn film. And then right my senior year of high school, I was like, oh, I'm not gonna wrestle anymore. I'm gonna be a YouTuber.
Hmm.
And then that's when it was like, it was bad. It got rough. And then my
Oh
parents
man.
were like, "You're insane. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
And then I was trying to do YouTube, and at the time I was doing the YouTube magic content creation page. I used
Hmm.
to be a magician, and I was like, "I'm gonna be a magician YouTuber." They were like, "You're kicked out of our house." But it after a little bit, it's because content creation was so new at that time. Like
Yeah,
nobody
yeah.
really. I mean, it wasn't like new, but like it was one of those things where like nobody was really becoming
Yeah, it was more
YouTubers.
of just a niche. Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. And but then over time they kind of were like, oh wow, this is like an actual thing. And they've been the most supportive parents ever on the planet. Like they're I couldn't, I couldn't be happier. And they've done nothing but support me since, realizing that
Oh, that's
I'm not a
awesome.
crazy person.
Yeah,
But
yeah. Like
but yeah, I
you're
mean, like,
finally
so
doing well with it.
they're definitely big inspirations, and how hard they work at what they do. Um and then I would say like other people that are close to me, my wife, um she's been awesome.
Hmm.
She's been with me throughout the entire journey of me being a crazy content creator.
Yeah,
She's stuck with me the
yeah. And
whole
she
way.
makes
So
videos with you too nowadays.
exactly, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's
her,
that's
and
the
then
dream right
and
there.
then yeah, exactly, and then my brother as well.
Yeah,
He's he's super inspiring. So
that's awesome.
yeah, it's just yeah, I would say those are the people that are close to me that inspire me. And then I obviously have friends, content creators, like you and a few other
Yeah.
buddies that I watch their stuff, and then it makes me like I said, kick myself in the butt and be like, all right, you gotta start making more. These people are crushing it.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's so great to have. For one, yeah, it's amazing to have like supportive parents. My mom took a big risk with me because yeah, she was the same. Like she'd help me like even growing up, like get a Canon, my first Canon camera, or like a tripod, or just whatever, and just like cater to
That's
my
amazing.
absurd obsession with trying to learn like Adobe and it costing like a lot of money. And yeah, and
Yep.
she helped. I went to college and all that, and it was a big path for me to decide whether I was gonna, because I went to school for software engineering, which was still kind of the VFX path. I got really into wanting to learn not only how the VFX work, but how they were simulated in software, in like these
Yep.
3D engines and all that. And so I kind of became obsessed with just how computers do these crazy physics sims, or just these crazy lighting renderings. I mean, Nvidia is coming out with some new now AI is like helping render frames. It's just absurd. And so
Insane.
those were the things that I got obsessed with. But yeah, right when college was ending for me was when it was like I think sophomore year of college. So I was like 21 or maybe 20 or so years old. And that's when like this, big thing of TikTok came around. And I started for the next like 2-3 years, I was trying to grow my online brand. And this whole time, I'm not needing to work a job. My mom was helping me get through college, and paid for my college as well. Uh,
That's amazing, bro.
yeah. Oh, yeah. She's been like so supportive my entire life, and yeah, I owe everything to her. But um, I took a risk, so I got this engineering degree, which that was an exciting title to have that I worked hard for, and then I said, hey, I want to spend the next 6 months trying to be a content creator full time and see how that goes.
Uh,
And she at that time, because we were finally getting like a few sponsorships, so kind of there's a little bit of things materializing that showed evidence of that potential down the line. So
yeah.
she was like, all right, let's try it. And yeah, it was within a couple months doing it full time, it was very like clear that this was a very possible path to do full time. And now you've even helped me like get with you and I have the same agency. You helped me get into it, which I thank you so much for to this day.
Of
Uh,
course, man. Of
yeah,
course.
so that's what's been so awesome.
I just put you in touch, with with our boy,
Yeah.
and he's I knew because like, dude, you were crushing it at the time, and you're a
Oh,
great
thank
guy,
you.
and so like I was like, there's 100% you're gonna be with this management, and
Yeah.
they've been awesome. Super
Yeah,
grateful.
bro. Yeah, I
But yeah, I think with going back to our parents, with them, with that jump happening that we both had to do, it's it's just our parents looking out for us at the
oh,
end of the day. It's
absolutely.
them like
Yeah.
they're not like being, and I never want it to come off as if my parents were bad for not trust them. But at the end of the day, they're looking out for you. They're like, are you sure? This is kind
Yeah.
of crazy.
Yeah.
So, but ever since, once you show that little bit of proof and you're like, this could
Yeah.
work, they're like, then they were just, and same thing with your mom. It's just like they're fully behind you and ready
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
And
Especially with
I
like the
couldn't do more things.
passion. I think that's what it takes is like showing that, yeah, for one, that evidence, that proof of this is a feasible route to take, but also
Yeah.
just showing like how obsessed you are with it. Just, I mean, you hear that all the
Of course.
time with content creators. Um, I'd love to transition to, like with all this content that you're making on a weekly basis, if not daily basis. I can't imagine the workflow you have when it comes to creating these short form pieces of content, getting the VFX out, and getting that thing uploaded across all the socials. Do you like? I would love to know your entire just the workflow from start to finish of kind of just cultivating this idea that you have for this concept of a skit to it being uploaded and maybe like marketing it wherever you do that.
Yeah. So, it's kind of exactly what you think it is. It's basically like my brother works here. Actually, this is the studio.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother always is right there. That's his desk. And he comes over and we kind of start the day. We plan it out. We have a whiteboard. It's empty because I promise we use it. And then he comes over. We write on the whiteboard. Figure it out. We figure out skit ideas. We kind of just brain dump. Honestly, that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing that's helped a bunch. Is literally any bad idea, good idea, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Brain dump it onto the whiteboard. We just write out, fill out everything. We fill the whole thing up basically. Then we go through. We'll do this like in the beginning of the week. We'll go through and then we'll kind of circle what works and what doesn't and what we kind of think we could run with.
Mm-hmm.
And then we kind of finalize a few ideas and that's kind of what we run with for the week. The big thing that we do with content creation too, I mean, I'm sure you do the same thing, is you just see what's working within your page and that kind of guides you to figure out what skit you do. So that's kind of the whole planning process. We do that and kind of towards the beginning of the week. And then he's over kind of for 5 days for the rest of the week. And we kind of film. We kind of film 2 videos at a time. It's kind of the sweet spot. We can't really do more than that. We've tried doing the bulk filming thing. And that's just, I don't know. You kind of just, you lose it. You lose like the oomph in like the third video. You're just like, all right, I don't want to do this anymore. So it's like, we kind of found like filming 2 videos is a sweet spot. He works on one, I work on the other. And then depending on, because he does a lot of visual effects, but if it's stuff with Blender, I'll handle it. So we'll swap videos back and forth throughout the whole day. And then it's a lot of just editing. And then we have our set schedule of when we're uploading. And then we upload on those days that we need to upload. And that's pretty much it. It's most of our time is spent, as you know, I'm seeing same with you, is at this desk. Like it takes us 30 seconds to film.
Oh yeah, it's
all
like
of our time is
it's
spent
5% filming, and like the other
Exactly.
95% is
insane.
editing. Yeah, that's something the funny we've talked about this before offline, but you'll get comments that are like, "Are you using CapCut? Is that CapCut?" And you're like, "Actually, I just spent 2 weeks working on this render that took 18
a
hours."
7-hour edit. No, it's not CapCut.
Yeah,
it's like they're like, what app did you use?
Yeah.
Like, it's not an app. It's on my computer, please.
Yeah, it is crazy. Kind of just like, I don't know, the perspective on it. So you did like talk about like what editing softwares do you use, like out of like all the suites of tools?
Unfortunately, I use Adobe. Again,
that's the best
I've been
way
with Adobe my whole life.
That's the best
So
way
it's
to introduce it. I unfortunately use Adobe.
Unfortunately, I'm stuck with using Adobe forever now. But yeah, it's since I was 12, I was learning like After Effects. I was getting into After Effects, and I've messed around with it since then. I've been with Adobe for a decade now, so it's pretty wild, and I'm kind of stuck with them. But they're good and they're bad, as you know. I'm sure you've been through it, Jaden. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But it's just like I use Photoshop, After Effects, Premiere Pro, and I recently started using Blender for the past 3 years. And Blender is CGI. It's basicely 3D. It's a 3D rendering software.
It's the best. I mean, it's definitely the Blender. I mean, you and I have been using it for some time now. I've been using it since like high school. They were stuck on like, I forget what it was. It was like 2.79 or something like that for
That's
years.
wild,
and now out of nowhere, they're like on like 4.0 or something. I'm like, God, can we slow down? We're on Blender alpha version 5.6. What is going on? Why is this
They need to
thing?
be studied.
They really
They're
do. Yeah,
great. They're
they
great,
are.
dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've changed the landscape for. I mean, we're patient 1 and 0 right here, right? Like, we're maybe not actually, but we're we're the results of incredible software like that, being made that's like catered to amateur filmmakers who obviously don't have a multi-thousand-dollar budget to afford some multi-thousand-dollar subscription per month.
Yeah.
um, Not trying to call anyone out, but so Blender, yeah, they're really great, and yeah, I've loved Blender. You pump out like these videos in such a fast paced manner that it's just crazy how efficient you are with producing these incredible VFX shots. Like,
Thank you, man.
can you give any? Yeah, yeah.
No, it's like it doesn't feel, it feels like almost like we're slow with it, but it's crazy to hear you say that, because like with Logan and I, we're always like, God, we're so slow at doing this,
Well,
but it's like
Blender makes you feel slow when you're doing
it
it.
really
Yeah.
does. So it's great to hear that. I appreciate that that you think we're putting it out fast, because I feel so slow.
Yeah. No, I mean, what are some of the I think the best question I can ask is like from the last few years that you've been like kind of doing this content creating, what have been the I don't know, the ways you've approached innovating your content to be higher quality, better visual effects. Because like for me, I always every year like I try to every skit I try to make it higher quality, whether it's funnier or not, or overall not as good. I just even the editing itself, I try to make it better and better. So what's your approach to always trying to just innovate your work, trying to push things to the limit? Like, what's been one of the that and what's been one of the hardest, VFX things you've done recently?
I think to talk on like, okay, so to talk about like the innovating and constantly changing, I think a lot of it is just a love for the VFX and a love for the
Mm-hmm.
content. I think a lot of it is, I mean, every night I'm falling asleep to VFX tutorials on my phone. Like that's
Yeah.
like I tried doing it one night. This is bad. I think I have like some sort of issue, because like I was like, oh, I'll go to sleep with silence and not to Ian Hubert, and then I like put, and then I I was like sitting in bed, and I was like, I can't do this. So like I'll just
Yeah.
put on a VFX tutorial and watch it. I think
Yeah.
that's helped out a bunch, because I see a VFX tutorial and other content creators and VFX are doing it. I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Like, how do
Mm-hmm.
I do this? How can I learn? But so I think it's constantly just that like hunger for new
Mm-hmm.
VFX shots. I think it's cool, and it constantly keeps things fresh. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's the same thing with you. Like I see it like you'll make a skit based around a visual effect
Mm-hmm.
shot that that you're learning, and like I mean, you're like you were learning like fire sims that one
Yeah.
time. Remember, you made the whole skit around the oven. Like it was
Yeah.
just so cool,
Yeah.
and I think that's like it's such it's such a blessing and a curse of like having
Mm-hmm.
that addiction to learning visual effects. Because
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we could just do what we've been doing, and just and make a bunch of videos with like After Effects, but like for
Yeah.
some reason we love to torture ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely like back then like with cuz yeah, that's like my unusual event series where I do like just some crazy absurd event happens, whether it's like yeah, like the oven's on fire, or I did one with like an earthquake in my house. And yeah, sometimes it paid off well. And then sometimes like these videos that took like a week to produce, and which I'm again, and we were talking about this earlier, like about views, like 1 million views is incredible, but like maybe for a video like that, you're like, oh man, I was hoping like I was hoping for a
Three
little,
billion.
yeah, three
Like
billion, three
what's going
bajillion.
on?
But sometimes like what's your process of maybe handling uh a video not doing as well, especially if it's like some huge shot that you worked on that was some big VFX shot that had took you a week, or like it had a long rendering period and it just didn't pay off the way you'd like it to. How do you handle, for one, uh, I guess even, I know this sounds silly, but just the emotion that comes with that, just feeling like, oh my gosh, I just did all this work and it just didn't turn out the way I wanted to. And then how do you know, come back from that?
That's a good question. Uh, it took a while, but I'm finally at a place when it comes to my videos where I'll post and if it does well or if it doesn't do well, I still feel emotion. It's like, oh, come on. But it's like also I don't like, I would say like last year, it was like I had it affected me, my day, my mood, my like everything
Mm-hmm.
about me if I had a video perform well, poorly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but now I'm like, I'm happy to say that like I'll post a video and I won't even look at my phone. Like I'll
Yeah.
literally post a video and just like stay away from my phone
Mm-hmm.
for the day, or I won't open up any platforms. And it's like, if it does great, great. I'll normally find out from somebody else. Like
Mm-hmm.
Logan will be like, "Hey, the video did super well," and like also it sucks because like I can't really engage with my comments, and it would be nice to be like answering comments and everything, but I feel like it's better if I just share my content, and if it does great and someone's like, "Hey, this video popped off," great, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of try and stay away from it because it consumes you.
Yeah.
It really does. Like you're so addicted to checking your phone the whole
Mm-hmm.
time and then looking at how a video is doing, and it really just
Totally.
like I don't know. So like I'm super happy now that I could post a piece of content, and if it flops, it is what it is. I know people have seen it, people will see it, and I can't beat myself up because of
Mm-hmm.
it. But if this was me talking a year ago, I would like lay on the floor and stare at the ceiling and start
Yeah.
crying.
You're
But
like, I can't do this anymore. No, I'm like, I was
over.
the exact same way. And I've definitely gone back and forth because, there is a lot of like, euphoria that comes out of a video doing well. And yeah, there's a lot of like pain that comes from a video that you, uh, expected to do well and didn't. I think I've kind of learned, like just me personally, like I've learned to know, obviously sometimes you have videos that are a little bit more maybe uh just for lack of better words, more like filler content. Maybe you have a funny idea that is, conceptually overall good. Maybe it's not, maybe it's not the one that's going to get 10 million views, but it's still a really great video. So I've learned, like kind of understand, like, of course, this isn't, if it does blow up, that's amazing. I mean, we didn't expect that,
Yeah,
but, some of those videos, you just kind of have to learn like, okay, this is probably going to get, hopefully a million, couple million views within the next, like, week or so, couple weeks, hopefully. But then, yeah, there's definitely videos that I totally believe in, like, yeah, maybe like the crazy VFX shot that you're like, okay, it's going to start on this frame that's going to grab the audience right from the get-go. It's going to be the thing that even if the whole video is trash, they're going to want to see the rest of the video. It's a win-win. And then
yeah.
and then it doesn't play out that way. It is brutal. But I
That's
think,
what I learned from
yeah,
content creation is the you as I've been doing this for it feels like forever, and I still cannot figure out what's going to perform well and what's
yeah,
not going to perform well. You think you know what's going to work, and then you're
yeah,
like, man, this is
yeah,
the perfect video. This is gonna get billions of views, and then you post it,
yeah,
and it's like, all right, TikTok is like, yeah, we give you 200 likes. It's like,
yeah,
what? It's like,
yeah,
what happened? Like, I spent 3 days on
yeah,
this. So it's like it's one of those things where we've been posting stuff, and one thing that's helped is we find stuff that works,
mm-hmm,
and we continue to advance the visual
mm-hmm,
effects within that style of content that
yeah,
works. And then anything else that we try, we do as minimal VFX as possible. So
mm-hmm,
for like an example of that is we did one video where it was like video game tutorials be like, and where it's like the person and he's just punching me and then he punches me
yeah,
and I'm like trying to teach him how to fight in a video
yeah,
game and then and
absolutely
then I
hilarious.
thanks man and
By the way, I
that was
think I
it was
have
a
like
test.
almost 20,000 likes on the comment on that video on like Instagram.
Really,
Yeah, it's so
dude.
I said something about like, oh, it's crazy that he also had like a legendary item on him, and then it just like blew up.
That's amazing,
I'm a
dude.
part. I feel like I'm a part of the family now, but I'm a part of the marketing team. Uh, but yeah, yeah.
That's it. That's just testing with,
Hmm.
test with minimal visual effects. So if that video flopped, I wasn't going to feel as bad because it was like that video. Yes, there's some visual effects I had to track. I had
Hmm.
some like dust hit when the punch happened and some sound effects. But that video I uploaded, boom, it did great. And that's now we know. And this week we ran
Hmm.
with another one of those videos. So we did it with like a grenade and we
Hmm.
added it. And there's more visual effects. There's explosions. There's fire. So now we know we do run with that idea, add more visual effects, see if that does well. And now if the next one does well, then we'll add a little bit of Blender, run with
Hmm.
that. So we're not.
Yeah,
It's a faster way to get out videos and then see what works, and then we
yeah.
know what we should be putting our most of our
Yeah.
Blender time into,
Yeah,
if
which
that
is a
makes sense.
which is like a very professional creator approach to ensuring that like your content that you're producing is going to be, secure in that way, that you're gonna, definitely, hopefully seek the benefits of it, and it's gonna get views by having this base formula. And that's what they, a lot of people teach you, that is that, you have this foundation of an idea that did well, and then you try to sprout from that and see if you can like experiment with this different approach. I even just did it. It's so funny, like with my gaming channel, because that's the one that I've always been trying to just grow and make it more overall like doing well, like every video, right? And I just did like I'll do the BeamNG car crash videos, which everybody loves, and that gets like hundreds of thousands of views long form. And then I'll do a normal gaming video, and then it'll get like 20,000 views. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to try another character. And I just did like this so stupid. I did like, I played a horror game where I was
the cop, right?
Yeah, I was a police officer, and people loved it. And it's like definitely it's been one of my most like successful videos since the BeamNG, like when it first blew up and everything. So it's like my most successful non-BeamNG video. And that was only like a few weeks ago. And so it's definitely about like experimenting with this base idea that did well. I should have done it sooner, right? I should have done it a year and a half ago, and played with different ideas of different characters. But it's definitely for sure about having a base idea and experimenting with it from there on out. Do you ever make videos that you almost don't even care if it's going to do well or not, but it's still like a lot of work? Like I can say, for instance, and I think you saw it, was I did a promo for Fall Guys, and I just went all out.
Was insane.
It was like, so unnecessary, like so unnecessary. Yeah.
I showed my brother, because we did a Fall Guys one as well.
Yeah, we both. And it was like, it's awesome. I love when that happens.
It was like, and I was like, this took forever. This is really hard. And then you like showed me yours, and I was like, oh my god, Jaden spent a week in Blender probably. And then I showed my brother Logan, and the whole time he's sitting here, he's like, oh no, oh no. Oh no, because it's just like it just keeps getting more and more, and like you're keyframing and like creating character animations, and you built the whole set, and it like zooms into the phone, and I'm like,
it is for sure. And I did it, like that was a video, like it was kind of like, incentivizing, because obviously it was a promo, I was getting paid for it, so I was like, I might as well just go all out with it, because it's
so impressive, bro. Congratulations. Like that's a phenomenal piece of content.
I appreciate that. And it got less than 1 million views, so we're but that right there is exactly what I'm talking about. And for one, obviously I wanted to make Fall Guys happy, and just like you do with your clients and sponsors. But I think for like a video like that, I was like, oh man, this is just a perfect game that everybody knows and loves. Let me just go on full force with it and try to just make the most unnecessary visual effects that I need to make for this. And it was like, absurd hand animating me walking and stuff like that. I've had my mom, it's so awkward. I have to have my mom like every like few months do a new photo scan of me T-posing. Yeah. And I'm just like, you need to get close to my face. Get close. I need to breathe. Hold on. Let me breathe. I need a blink. Go somewhere. Go around me. I need a blink. But so that's definitely so like, how about for you? Like, what are some like videos you've done that you're like, I'm gonna go all out for this, I don't care about the views?
I would say the ones that we've gone all out with were some of the green screen ones where I love like scene creation and scene building and building like an environment and like putting myself within that environment. Obviously, both of us being Ian Hubert fans, like that's like
Blender guru.
I love that.
Yeah.
A lot of so putting myself in a scene is like, I want to do more of that. And the unfortunate thing is that just doesn't do well. And I think there's an issue with where if a video looks too high quality, the viewer instantly is turned away because they think they're trying to be sold something, or they think it's an ad. So that's kind of the
I went through the exact same thing, by the way. I totally thought like I would sometimes do those like VFX, and I'm like, I don't know if it's like, I think people think they're I totally thought the same thing. Like they think it's a sponsorship, or they think it's like, and like even just, I mean, not even like in an egotistical way, just it being like this like sharp, nice, pretty quality thing. You're like, oh, this isn't gonna, either be funny or whatever it is. It's like there is like some psychology behind that. That's like,
Yeah.
on these social medias, you totally think like bad is gonna be is equals funny. Like, it's like someone holding their
Yeah.
camera. You just know psychologically it's just gonna be this hilarious video. So it's
Totally.
totally like a con to producing like high quality content. So like, but yeah, the 3D shots. So you're talking about like when you actually put yourself in like 3D environments.
Yeah, yeah. So one of the ones that we did that I just wanted to do was like a Fallout one where
Mm.
like I was walking, I was in a full like you know vault suit, and I had my Pit Boy, and my brother was in playing pretending to be in a power armor, and I built this environment of within the world of Fallout and tracked it, made this cool camera animation and all this stuff, and yeah, and I I really enjoy building those scenes,
Mm-hmm.
but for some reason they never really do well. But one thing that we're going to try is now with these like new style of skits that are popping off, we're doing stuff along the lines of like the character that's clearly not surviving and is
Mm-hmm.
like in a video game. It's like a
Yeah.
skit based,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
we're doing those type of videos. And I was saying, wonder if we could do these skit videos but do a 3D tracked like 3D environment. Yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna suck to make, but I those are videos that I do enjoy making, and I hope if they do great, awesome. That's it's amazing. But it's one of those ones that I it's like a passion
Mm-hmm.
project, I guess, like because
Yeah.
those definitely never perform well. My brother's like, "Why do you want to do those? There's so much
Yeah.
work and
It's
zero
so
views." I was like,
unnecessary.
"It's what I
Yeah.
enjoy. Please
Yeah.
give this to me."
Yeah.
So it's like, like I don't know. It's sometimes you keep feeding the beast of
Mm-hmm.
like when we were doing those green screen videos, we weren't doing it. It was the cringy, like clearly like you don't need to be doing, I had my wife in the videos and she didn't have
Yeah.
a green screen like mask on. It was just her head floating. It's like
It's
people are
still
like
it's
this
still
is
super
fake.
grabbing though. Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
super
But it's
grabbing.
like, like we were doing those and those just felt so awful. They just hurt to make. But like so yeah, we do. Every once in a while, you do those like little passion videos, and they do
Mhm.
terrible, and you just
Yeah.
feel bad about yourself. But again, they're fun to do. It's like what do you can't just make videos that you don't want to make, because
Mhm.
then it's like then what are you doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I think like I said with the Fall Guys, I think what I've done is like my outlet has been through sponsorships. Like if I'm able to, it's like that's the way I look at it. It's like, okay, well, this video probably isn't this concept, it's so much work. I don't know if it'll even be worth it getting a million views, because if it's took me a week to do it, well, I could have just made two or three skits in that
Yeah,
time. So yeah, my outlet has definitely been sponsorships. I did like an Xbox one where like I was like a freaking winter jacket, and I got like my mom helped me with like fake snow and just full-fledged makeup and like just a pure blizzard, After Effects, crazy After Effects like compositing. And it was like, so I just went all out and I was having a heat stroke the entire time because I was like in this jacket and I had like an ice pack inside me as well, and I'm like needing to move at the same time to look like I'm shaking, and it's
yeah,
just heating me up even more. So yeah, I mean, yeah, there's that's my outlet of trying to like kind of squeeze in like some passionate way of making like just going over the top with something.
yeah,
But yeah, like we were saying, some videos don't always work out. Sometimes they do. Regardless, at the end of the day, it's a lot of work. How do you handle? It's one of the biggest creator questions. How do you handle burnout? How do you handle just having just this constant workflow? Hopefully, and I'd love to know like if you take time off, when you take time off, and the mental like, and I'm sorry, I'm just gonna like talk about this for a second. Like for me, I had a lot of struggle turning my mind off with content creating. Like I would work till 12 a.m. and I'm like, shoot, I didn't even like rest today at all. Like I didn't even take a break. So what's your way of handling that stress of constantly working and also just trying to ensure that you don't burn out?
I think the best thing you could do is have some sort of outlet. So mine is video games.
Mm-hmm.
If you ever feel stressed, if you ever feel like it's one of those things, I'll just hop in a video game and that'll kind of take my mind away from everything. But it's definitely a big struggle, and especially when you're riding those waves and you're at the bottom
Yeah.
and you're doing the videos and you're working really hard and they're not taking off. But that's where the burnout like hits the most, and I
Mhm.
think that's where um, a lot of like everybody hits those brick walls.
Mhm.
Everybody hits those brick walls and those burnout points in content creation. And I think having like that outlet, like you said, like taking taking vacations, taking breaks, stepping away for things for a day. Your whole page isn't going to crumble if you step away for a day. Those are definitely helpful, and just taking time to yourself and stepping away from it.
Mhm.
But burnout is definitely there, and it's always going to be there. And it's a lot of those times you kind of have to sit back and you have to remind yourself what you're doing, how grateful you are that you are doing this job of content creation and being able to
Mhm.
share these videos with millions of people. And I think that's kind of what helps me whenever I'm at that point. I sit back and I go, damn, like this is gaming visual effects videos. This is what I wanted to do
Yeah.
since I was 11 years old. Like, this is such a blessing to be able to do this, and that kind of gives me the motivation. And it's like, wow, like like what are you complaining about?
Yeah.
Like, start making more videos. So that
Yeah.
that
You're
that
like,
always
shut
helps. That
up.
always
My
helps.
God. Yeah.
Like shut up. Like you're doing
Yeah.
this. Like you have nothing to complain about, man.
Yeah.
Like again, that won't work for everybody, but like
Sure.
my thing is like I'm so grateful to be here and,
Mhm.
and doing content creation and to get these views and like it's just I kind of just like shut up, man.
Yeah.
You got glitch videos to make.
Yeah. Oh, I'm
So
the I'm the exact same way, honestly. No, I really am. Like I'll just be working on a video or I'm like super tired or maybe it's a sponsorship that has a tight deadline or whatever it is and I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, this is so much work." And then, I'm thinking like, "Oh, should I have taken the engineering route?" I'm thinking like I'd just be
yeah,
sitting at well, it's kind of funny because I'd be sitting at a computer either way, but I'd be, it's like my life either way. It was just a
yeah,
computer. That was the end goal. There was no actual path to be taken. But yeah, it's either I can just code in front of a computer screen for 8 hours a day for somebody else, right? That I'm just employed by, and that I'm getting paid to have them live their dream, or I can do my own thing, create videos. And so what? Sometimes, yeah, it's even, I know this sounds maybe cringy or whatever, but some of my videos, even like, just like physically exhaust me when I'm like so emotional or crying or sweating or whatever it is. Like if you're doing 20 takes or more for like every single line, at the end, you're like, oh gosh, okay, that was something else. Or even preparing for it, like even
yeah,
up like oh my gosh, I have to film this skit today. That's a big deal. But yeah, I always remind myself for sure that this is definitely like I'm living the dream. This is what I've been thinking of since I've been like I think like since I was like 9 years old for myself, like using
yeah.
Windows Movie Maker. I remember like even with Windows Movie Maker, I found out you could add like screenshots to it. Like, I mean, of course you could. It was just a single frame of a clip, but I would take a photo of like a shot of me running and I would draw an explosion and I would put it back in and it would just be the sound of an explosion and just a single frame of a drawn paint.net explosion. And I'm like, this is the greatest thing. Does
This is
anyone else,
art.
does
This is
anyone
art.
else know about this? This is, I need to start I think I need to start a course or something. Yeah. Or like splitting
Yeah,
down. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's it. I think it's just like constantly reminding yourself, that this is it. Because like again, like I've worked a lot of crappy jobs, like a lot of crappy jobs where you're just miserable, and then to do this and to do this for a living, it's just one of those things where you just constantly have to like sit back and just practice gratitude. That's like the best thing that I that's the best advice I can give to any content creator is just
Mm-hmm.
like understand the position you're in and how amazing it is that you could share your content with the world and I think
Absolutely.
going back and thinking on past experiences at other jobs and everything and just yeah, that's it. just
Yeah.
just practicing that because I mean panic attacks are real with content creation. I've never experienced a panic attack in my life, and I never
I
thought. I
know.
was like, I'm mentally strong, I'm never gonna,
Yeah.
I'm good, like I don't have to worry about that stuff. And then last year it was at that point where like content started doing well and you're making more
Mm.
money and you're doing great and you're getting all these views and you're like, oh, it's all like is this gonna end? And then you get like one video that does less, and then it's like, man, it's crazy.
Yeah. You
It's
start
crazy. You
freaking
never
out. Yeah.
think. Yeah, it's wild. So I think yeah, taking a step back, taking a break, taking a breather, giving
Mm-hmm.
yourself that time, playing some video games, going
Mm-hmm.
away on vacation. It's not that big of a
Mm-hmm.
deal. Just relax,
Yeah,
make some
definitely.
videos, and enjoy life.
I think even just like to add to that, I think for when you're amateur like YouTuber, TikTok or whatever, like when you're first starting off, I don't think you even realize it's a job. And then you
Hmm.
start to realize like, oh, I'm just a workaholic. Like you realize like you're just working like a lot, and then that's when you start to realize you take it more seriously, like professionally, and realize, okay, I got to take breaks. This is
Yeah.
because at one point it's kind of like playing video games for 12 hours or something. But then you start to realize if you're like a full time, gaming commentator or something, you're like, okay, I need to balance this. I need to make sure I don't like destroy my life and trying to, still do things outside of content creating and whatnot. With, you were talking about like playing, games as your hobby, the thing that, helps you cool down, like to take a breather simultaneously. I know this is terrible, but at the same time, are you finding ideas when you're playing these games? Like for me, I'll even take breaks and I'll be like sleeping and I'll be like, oh my God, I need to write this down. I feel like a schizo or something. But do you see something when you're playing games? You see something when you're playing games, you're like, this is a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it helps. It helps playing all video games,
Mm-hmm.
and looking at the janky physics and story characters
Yeah.
and writing ideas around that. I mean, everything comes from playing video games.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just unfortunate though, because like it sucks to be playing video games and also thinking about work at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
But
That's the
you just
curse.
gotta know how to turn it off. I guess it's just it's
Yeah.
the curse.
I feel that too. I'll be playing a game. I'll be playing a game, and I'm like, oh my gosh, should I be streaming this right now? What should I? Oh
That's
my
the worst.
gosh.
When you're playing a game and you're just like, I could be working on that video that I was just
Yeah.
working on, and it's like you're
Oh
constantly
yeah.
having to fight that battle
Yeah.
of just like you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
I'm
It's
such a
total mental
and like
torture. Yeah.
that's the problem of like not having it where you like clock out at a certain
Mm-hmm.
time of like, and that's the one thing that I've been trying to do is like my brother will come to work 6 o'clock, boom, we're
Mm-hmm.
done. Don't talk about
Yeah.
content creation. No more content creation.
Yeah.
Just go on.
I'll do
Because if you
that.
don't, then
Yeah.
I'll be editing till 2 in the morning.
Yeah, yeah. I'll do that
You know.
like with my mom because like we'll talk about because she helps me with like even she'll help me with like lines, creative ideas, but she helps me a lot with the business as well and just like managing finances. Um, and like we'll like I'll come over or whatever and like we'll just be like, hey, so we gotta take a disbursement soon from the business, and I'm like, oh my god, we can't talk about this right now. I just did. Or like we'll be talking about like an idea, like you need to do your 2024 compilation soon. And like, oh my gosh, it's like, I just, yeah, I have to shut it down. And she's, she does that too. But yeah, you got
Yeah.
to learn to shut things down because otherwise you'll just go crazy. What is your, I guess this kind of bounces off of finding concepts in video games, but how do you find, and this is like a really broad question about finding the niches specific to your channel. So even for me, when it came to like the gaming channel with BeamNG car crashes, or my skit channel with the absurd sweating, or yeah, the VFX things, how do you find, for instance, your behind the scenes green screen formatting, or how characters from certain video games walk through a door or go upstairs or whatever?
Um, a lot of it is just honestly just testing everything
Yeah,
and anything.
trial and
I
error. Yeah.
try super hard not to copy any
Mhm.
creator. I try not to do anything that replicates what other people are doing. I try my hardest. Yes,
Mhm.
sometimes you inevitably you watch content and it gives you a
Yeah.
certain idea, and then it's kind of like something you saw.
Mhm.
Um,
Oh my gosh,
but
and I'm
I
sorry, not to
yeah.
I'm being rude to interrupt you,
No,
but
no, no, you're all
I
good.
literally I did a chat GPT video. It's my first video of
I saw it, dude.
2025.
Great. It's
Oh,
fantastic.
thank you. But I
Dude, okay, wait.
yeah.
I now I have to cut you off.
Yeah.
The apps making the phone heavier, that I lost it. That was
That's
that's a
great.
great that was amazing.
Oh,
Did you
thank you.
It's so
That's
good.
that's actually something we learned in like in school, is that like, yeah, stuff like that actually does make your phone heavier. It's like
Does
all,
it?
yeah, it's the electrons and all, it's the energy. It's because energy has like
That's insane.
It's
I had no idea.
weight. It's kind of confusing, but yeah, it does have weight at a very like micro level. But yeah, so I did that idea and I called it. I filmed it like days before it came out, and I called it like Chat GPT. I wanted to like find some way to make it very Gen Z relatable, so I did like Chat GPT crashing out. And I remember another creator, like someone started commenting, like, "Oh, Andrew, I'm gonna pronounce his last name wrong. I think it's like Andrew Ruoso. He's another guy that does hilarious videos. He like does like sweating and all these things. But he did a video a day before called word for word Chat GPT crashing out. And I'm like, oh my God, I look like a fraud. This
That's the
is,
worst,
yeah,
dude.
it was crazy. And I went as far as like commenting. I'm like, I just want you to know. I'm so sorry. I filmed my version days ago. Please, whatever you do, don't look at my channel. But yeah, it was just terrible timing. But yeah, I'm so sorry. But yeah, you finding ideas, formulas for your content.
Yeah, it's just kind of it's basically the way that we do our videos is we have our bread and butter. We know what works. We know
Mm,
like the green screen video, the glitch video, the how different games videos. We
mm,
know that those will perform well, that type of format. So we upload those, and then in between those, we splice in the random ideas that we get
mm,
from playing video games, from doing this and that. Those are with just throwing stuff at the
yeah,
wall. Those
like
are our random
thinking
ones,
that
and
you think that the one of those might be a new formula that you
might
might
click and might
use.
become the
Yeah,
next glitch video,
yeah.
next green screen video.
Mm,
So we kind of are trying new things right now. Like I said, that tutorial one popped off. That's kind of
mm,
like the next wave we're going to be riding. But yeah, it's I try personally not to copy
mm,
anybody. I try super hard. I kind of try and be my own person. Again, like you when you're doing content creation and social media, um everybody gets ideas from each other. You're
mm.
constantly
Yeah.
watching content and you're getting
Even if it's
ideas
like
and you're ripping off of each
subconscious,
other.
you don't even
Exactly.
realize. Yeah, you don't even
and
realize that.
and that's the main thing with with like with social media. I always recommend to people that don't know what to do with social media and when they're first starting off and all like what direction do I go with this. I always say like find somebody who's doing a video, see where you could provide value, and then
Hmm.
recreate that video with
Yeah.
your own take, with your own value. So say
Hmm.
if I could do visual effects, somebody does a video, they don't have any visual effects and they have this joke or this skit
Hmm.
idea. I could essentially take that, add visual effects, and I gave my 2 cents. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel. Just
Hmm.
constantly tweak it
Yeah.
and make it your own. I try not to do that. I try and we try and come up with our own videos and our own
Hmm.
ideas, but inevitably you're gonna watch some videos, you're gonna get ideas, you're gonna run with certain ones, and then inevitably you'll make an idea that you're like, this is great, this is my own idea, and then all
Yeah.
of a sudden you find out that somebody did it a day
Yeah. Yeah.
prior.
Yeah.
It's like again, it just happens. It's
Yeah.
inevitable. You just need to give credit where credit's due,
Hmm.
and don't step on anybody's toes. And that's the hardest thing. Again,
Hmm.
there's a lot of sketchy content creators out
Yeah.
there that are awful human beings
Hmm.
that will steal content word for
Yeah.
word, and they'll rip it and they'll repost it. And there's uh, I had an issue with that where there was a content creator that literally blocked me and was running with
Mm.
my ideas,
Wow.
and so
Yeah.
I couldn't see. And it was like the most gross thing. And
Mm.
but I saw that as an opportunity to grow because I
Mm.
knew that I could do visual effects, and that's a lot of the reason why I've learned Blender and got into things
Mm.
because people were stealing my stuff and people were, like for example, that one guy that just blocked me and was making my videos and using my assets that were from my videos in
Mm.
his videos
Yeah.
that I created. He
That's
would cut
yeah.
them out of my videos and
That
put it in
is
his videos.
awful. Yeah.
I was like, bro. So
Yeah.
then I realized I was like, all right, Blender. I got to do
Yeah.
what they
Oh,
can't rip
that
off. So I
yeah,
was like,
that is God, the same. You and I mean, we've been friends for years. We've been talking for
yeah,
years about this. There's no one else that like I relate to as much as you, because I've had my mindset was like I realized people were stealing my ideas, my concepts. Even yeah, I had shots that I've noticed like a lot of the times it would be like with like foreign non-USA creators that maybe they speak a different language, so their audience doesn't even know about me, and they
yeah,
would take my ideas and they would even take like shots of like whatever object that is the funny subject of the video, and they just put it in their video. And I'm like, I need to like, and also, yeah, just people just stealing ideas from you. And yeah, I did the same thing where I'm like, I got to make these so freaking phenomenal with VFX
Yeah.
that they can't even
Yeah.
replicate it. And then they just steal the VFX shot.
Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
just take the VFX shot,
Yeah.
which happened too. That
Yeah.
that happened. I was like,
It's
oh, I'm gonna learn
crazy.
Blender, and then they just like took
Yeah.
the still of the thing I put in Blender. I was like, all right.
Mhm.
So again, like that happens, and that it's good. Like
Mhm.
again, like it's it's great to like look at that and use that opportunity to
Mhm.
grow, to see like, all right, and it's that little kick in the butt to be like, all right, like people are stealing my stuff.
Mhm.
And again, like if people are recreating my stuff and be like, hey man, like look, I recreated this, but it's like totally fine.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
dude,
No, yeah, especially
I
when they
don't
reach
care. It's
out to you.
amazing.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll repost it. Like
Yeah.
I love people that, you know, are inspired by my videos and make
Mhm.
similar ones. That's great. But if you block me and make my
Oh
video
yeah.
word for word
Yeah.
and do that, then I'm gonna be a little angry.
Yeah,
But
they are like
um
intentionally like copying you and then not, they're
exactly.
trying to hide you from seeing it as well. Yeah, that's awful.
Content creators, it's so, people are just super toxic, man. That's the one
Mhm.
thing I've noticed about being in this space, and that's the one reason why I really like don't like content creators.
Mhm.
Um, you know, there a lot of them are very stuck up. A lot of them are
Mhm.
very and again, I hate to rope everybody into the same boat. Like there's amazing content creators, like, you know, you're one of them. I tell you it all the time. I'm like, you're such a chill, down to
Thank you.
earth dude. Like
But I'm
you
very
rarely
stuck
find
up
that.
though.
Yes, very stuck
It's
up,
very
but for
stuck.
the most part, chilling down to earth.
Yeah.
But you know, it's hard to find that within the content creation space because these
Yeah.
people are getting millions of views. It goes to their head. They think they're more important than they
Yeah.
are.
Yeah.
When at the end of the day, we're just posting
Mhm.
uh 15-second clips to
Mhm.
TikTok. You know, like we're not, you know, we're nothing
Yeah.
special.
Yeah.
So you know, you find these creators that they treat everything like a competition. Like I've had
Mhm.
creators come after me and out me in videos and being like and be like, yeah, I'm better
Mhm.
than NicsNite, right? This video,
Yeah.
like they're quoting like their
Yeah.
followers and saying like that they're better than me with that certain videos, and
Yeah.
I'm like, it's
The
just
guy,
toxicity.
the guy that I forget if we were saying this beforehand. We were talking a little bit beforehand, but yeah, I had someone clip for clip recreate my video with the same
Yep.
captions, same backgrounds, same angle of the camera, music, everything. The only thing that was different was my face. I mean, he was wearing the same colors. Of it was just insane. And you know, there are people
Yep.
that they know what works, so they just replicate the exact same content to make that algorithm push. You know, there's actual professional routes of doing that. You know, people do associate, you know, and kind of recreate thumbnails because they know it works, and sometimes they have to because they can't
Exactly.
risk a whole video failing that they took, you know, 2 weeks on or whatever. But yeah, it's tough to see people just recreate your whole piece and then you know, not credit you, not anything. And this guy who like, yeah, I kind of like, I said like, what are you doing, man? This is like, it was like almost like, you know, it's insulting to, I mean, at least like maybe, yeah, maybe you can credit me. I've credited people before where like when I was like a younger creator where I was kind of like seeing these ideas, I'd tag them. But this guy, like even, you know, I was like, what are you doing? And he outed me by saying, we should do a boxing fight to see who's better. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking
Dude,
about? What is
so
happening?
delusional.
Yeah, it's
Just like content creator
complete
delusion. He's like, oh
delusion.
yeah,
Oh
let's
yeah,
box.
let's
Creator boxing,
box.
that's a big thing, right?
Get
It's like, oh,
UFC. UFC's not going to look at us, man. What are you?
UFC. Logan Paul, KSI, we're gonna fight on the next card. It's like,
Yeah,
what?
it's like, what are
Like,
you?
I just want you to stop
They
making my
don't know.
videos. What the hell, dude?
Just stop stealing my videos. Fighting. I don't want to fight you.
Box me, bro.
Box me, bro.
God,
We're talking about a
what are you
TikTok video.
talking about? Yeah, it's that's like it's a weird area in like
Yeah.
content creation, and
Yeah.
people just it's like people think it's a competition, and at the end
Hmm.
of the day, it's not a competition.
Yeah.
It's content creation. Like
Yeah.
just because you did something and I did something, it's not like we're like competing against each other. A rising tide
Hmm.
raises all ships. So it's
Hmm.
like everybody needs to work together. Everybody needs to stop and it's like get rid of their ego. And no one's better
Yeah.
than the other person, regardless of your following, regardless of your content that you put out.
Hmm.
Everybody needs to work together and just I don't know, just like
Yeah.
stop the grossness of social media. I
Yeah.
hate it. I
Oh
hate it
yeah.
so much.
You and me, I mean, you and me, like I love like the dynamic we have where I'll send you a video or you send me a video and I'll be like, yeah, I saw that yesterday. Or you say it. I'm like, damn it. I'm like, I thought I'd give him something that he hasn't seen yet. And you're like, yeah, I saw that
Yeah.
Blender. I saw that VFX video already.
Again, I think we have the same
Yeah,
brain.
just
Like
yeah,
literally everything, like our upbringing with filmmaking and
yeah,
content
yeah.
creation, and then like the reason why we do
Hmm.
things is like literally we're just like the same person. It's insane. Like the more
Yeah.
we talk about it, it's like we
Um.
both were filmmakers in
Oh yeah,
school and
totally.
competed in
Yeah,
competitions. It's like I don't know,
film
wild.
festivals, all that. Do you consider yourself like? Do you like to use the word influencer? I can say for myself, I hate the word influencer. I don't know, and not. It's probably more like I don't feel like I don't know. I like making videos and like I like to consider myself more of a like a filmmaker and all that. But like what's your terminology at the end of the day?
Yeah, I would just say like content creator.
Yeah.
Like that's like what I hate the term influencer. It
Hmm.
sounds like yucky.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, just content creator. I make
Hmm.
videos. Like that's basically it.
Yeah. With the all the videos that we were talking about of yours, like all these different niches and formulas, what was a series that didn't start as a series that you just like wanted to make this funny idea and then you've realized it's this like very, this whole essentially like franchise you've made out of this like one concept.
I'd say it was the kind of the content that started it all is my How Different Games series. And it's
Hmm.
basically like how different games go through
Yeah.
doors, how different games go to sleep, how different games cook, how different games, and that started with one video
Hmm.
where it was when I first started NicsNite, and before I thought that could be like a thing. It was in the middle of COVID, so
Hmm.
we were just I was bored and I was literally posting gameplay of just like me playing video games. And then I posted this video. It's how different games go through doors, and I made
Hmm.
it, and I was like, oh, it's a fun video, silly. And then it just popped off, and it exploded, and it
Hmm.
like grew my page, and it was like the coolest thing ever. It's the video that started me basically.
Hmm.
Um, and then I just ran with that idea, and I probably made like 50 cents. Like,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't have anything left. It's like how different games, sit down. I've done it. How different games play video games. I did it. Like I keep
Yeah.
literally, I'm out of ideas. Like I had
Yeah.
to stop. I had to stop the
Yeah.
series because I was like, I don't know what to
You're
do
like
anymore.
how video games vacuum the rooms. When you get a vacuum, you're vacuuming. You're
I've
like,
done it. How different games
can't.
clean. I've done it. Like literally everything, bro. I
Yeah.
can't think of anything else. Like
Yeah.
I'm tapped out. But yeah, that was the series there. I was like, oh, it's a fun video, and
Yeah.
it just like did well. Same thing with the glitch one. This is
Hmm.
the glitch series. I'm on like episode 16
Oh wow.
of glitches. Like I
Yeah.
can't do any more glitches, and
Yeah.
that all stems from like that idea of like video game glitches in real life, and then
Hmm.
the chair glitching from you, and you showing me like that type
Yeah.
of
Hey, I've done
the
it
noise modifier.
yeah, I've done it the exact same way where like I did the glitchy chair video. I did a few in between and then I did like a TV and I did try to add to it and like just like you do, you try to add to it to make it better. I
Yeah,
did like a glitchy TV in the wall and like I had a cable connected to it that was like a total like physics
yeah,
sim.
dude, that
So
kid
that
was awesome. That
yeah.
was I remember that
Oh,
video.
thank you. Yeah, that was a while ago. It was like a couple, maybe probably definitely 2 years old, if not 3 years old. Yeah, I know, right?
We're getting old.
I know it's it's
Oh,
crazy.
feels like
But
yesterday.
yeah, I know. I look back at some of my videos. I'm like, gosh, that was like 3 years ago. That's insane.
Yeah,
But yeah, and then like doing that, I just did one. I think this past year, I did one more complex. It was like glasses were glitching next to my head, and
yeah,
I had them
dude,
like clip in my head and stuff.
that was amazing.
Thank you. Yeah,
No, because you had the anchor point like in your head, so they were like literally like
yeah.
glitching as if they
Yeah,
were like
that's the
here.
best
It was
thing. And
smart.
yeah, the dialogue in that video is about like the anchor point offset position of
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
rotation,
yeah.
and
Okay,
that
I remember.
is
Yeah,
what was happening in the video. That's
so
what's been
good.
so uh lazily easy for me with those videos is I just take a VFX concept and then I just talk about it. That's all it is. And people are like, oh my God, this is so articulate and complex. How do you come up with this dialogue? And it's like, it's just the pain I went through to create the CGI shot.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
genius. It's genius.
yeah.
Like I love those VFX like videos that you do where it's like you build a whole skit around it.
Hmm.
It's so funny. They're so
Yeah.
funny.
What are like, what's one of like, even if it's a VFX video, high quality VFX video, or just something that made you laugh so hard, what was one of your all time so far favorite videos that you've created that you're like, this is like at least top 5. I won't force you to say like your number one, because
Okay.
that's even hard for me to say.
I would say the one that I really enjoyed was I made a video for Honor. It was a brand deal,
Yeah.
and it was just a good story, and like we did sword fighting, and there were sparks, and then I got like Logan charged attacked me, and I like ragdoll physic like fell away. There's a glitch, the TV glitches in it, so it had like a bunch of VFX shot. It felt like a well-rounded video, and that was one that I'm like really proud of, where if somebody's like, oh, you do brand deals, like that's the one that I'll show. um
Yeah.
TikTok took it down, so thanks TikTok, that was awesome. But besides from that, I think that was like, that's one that I'm really proud
Yeah.
of the way that came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool that, yeah, it's sponsorship related, because that's how I feel too. Like, just, I feel like I'm very, I don't know, it feels so much more maybe professional or something. I think for me, like I said,
Yeah.
sponsorships are just a way to just go full force with something. Obviously, worry about the views, but it's more of like, okay, I'm getting paid to make a really high quality thing, you know? So I'm going to make it the best I can.
Totally.
How do you handle kind of just the pressure of your following now? Because you, like we said, like you have over 5 million followers. You have multiple videos that have 100 plus million views, which just is, it's just insane to me. You've got probably around 2 billion views in total. Do you feel like there's this pressure to, I don't know, get that approval from your audience that you always have to do better than the last video, even just outside of the views? I just mean just that brand you've built for yourself, your quality.
Yep.
Yeah. The views as well. The, topics, the themes. I mean, what kind of mindset is behind all of that?
I think what really helps with the mindset of that following, and I've said it to you, I think the following's fake. I just don't think
Yeah.
any of them exist in
Yeah.
real life. Like,
Yeah.
I've never met anybody that's like, hey, you're NicsNite. Like, I've never in my
Yeah.
life, have never been recognized, never nothing, which
Wow.
is like, you makes you think, you're like, oh, there's like, apparently like what you said, all these views, all these people, but I've never like met any of them in person. So you're just like, maybe like, so I felt more pressure, honestly, when it was like 6 years ago, and I had my other channel. My other channel had like 70,000 subscribers, which is amazing. And at that time, I felt more pressure of like uploading and keeping up my following and talking to people, because they felt real. And like, I don't know, it's just, it feels not real, like these people.
Yeah.
So it helps a lot, where it feels like I can kind of do and like not really have to worry. And so that, I guess, not thinking, well, I guess it's a really terrible thing to say. It's like,
No.
none of my followers, they're all not real people.
They're all not
Like, it's like, no. Like, I just, it's just,
They're not real
it
people.
makes it easier. It makes it easier.
I know
Because
what
like,
you mean,
imagine
yeah.
if you like took 3 million people and put them in a stadium.
Yeah.
Like, I would probably have a stroke and die.
Yeah,
looking at
it's
that.
crazy.
You know what
It's so
I mean?
crazy.
So
Yeah.
it's like, it's nice not seeing these numbers and not seeing these people and not
Yeah.
focusing on them, because now I could just make content, and it's seen by people. And if it's seen by people, great. If it's not, it is what it is. I tried. But it's definitely scary, and it definitely helps, especially with what's going on with TikTok right now. And it's like, that's like my following right there. And it's like, all right, good. See you later.
I'll see you guys
It
later.
was fun, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't, it's good. It's good to think everybody's fake.
Yeah. It's definitely a good field. And I mean, you're totally right. Like, it's like this way of like having a huge following of like it's you can't comprehend millions of people watching you. It's just like impossible
totally
to
not.
comprehend.
Mhm.
I'll definitely like and I think for your sake, I think like you said earlier, I think maybe because maybe a little bit of your content is more oriented towards maybe the VFX and not as much of the face. Now I have people who like, it's just like, it doesn't even matter if they follow me. Like, I might have come across their For You page a couple times. So what I mostly get will be like, just like a double take. Like they'll just keep staring at me, and and I've kind of like learned to figure out who does recognize me and who's like, just total coincidence. They just looked over at me. They'll just stare at you for like, they'll just be like, They'll just do that and they'll look away and they'll just keep like staring for more than 5 seconds. I'm like, okay, this is, you can't
You're
approach.
like, I know I'm Jaden. You want a picture? And they're like, no, you're
like,
you're standing in the way.
Yeah.
Of, like,
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that right there is literally the worst part because you can't say anything. Cause
yeah, you can't say anything. It's like, hey, I know you know me. I'm Jaden. They're like, I don't know. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, sir, no, I don't.
Sir, please get away from me.
Yeah. I'm like, it's okay. I know it's okay. No, but,
okay, you want a selfie?
Yeah. They're like, I don't know. It's not, I don't know who you are. My waiter is behind you. I'm trying to get my food.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely something like I get mostly. I'll get a couple of people that'll be like, oh my gosh, you're Jaden Williams, which is like just insane. It's so weird. And I don't even know how to handle it. I'm like, yeah, that's right. And I start crying. They're like, are you okay? I'm like, I don't know how to handle this.
Why'd you do this? Like
having such a good night. I had someone walk up to me. I was eating like barbecue.
I was about to say, eating. Like I'm so nervous somebody's gonna be like, oh, you're NicsNite. And I'm just covered in food. Like I'm like, oh.
I had a guy. Gross. Oh, and I will say, like, I can confidently say I'm extremely self-conscious of someone walking up to me. Because like now I'll get it like every few times, like I'm out going to like a mall or whatever.
That's
somewhere
amazing, bro.
But it's
like
so
cool.
Yeah, it is. It's cool. And like, I'm so grateful and it's just such a surreal feeling. And I don't want to like push anyone from not like walking up to me. They're gonna be like, no, he hates us. He doesn't like us at all. But it's definitely like, I don't know when it's going to happen, but I had this time that I was eating, I had barbecue all over me. The waiter walks up to me and he has his hand out and I'm like covered in like, just my hands are covered in barbecue sauce. And I didn't even compute. Like I looked like I was having an aneurysm. Because I literally just couldn't shake his hand. And I just start like wiping as quickly as I can. He's like, you're okay. And I'm like, I'm not okay. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry. I ruined your night. He's like, no, you're fine. I'm like, I ruined my own night.
That's terrible.
Yeah. But I'm starting to kind of get used to it. But
it's never happened to me. Like, I've had those like looks like where you think, but again, I could just be like standing behind their like in front of their wife, like ordering.
Yeah, you just look more more schizophrenic than anything. You're like,
yeah. Like I just constantly feel like people are watching me. It's like, oh man, like is it in my head or am I a content creator? So we'll see. I'm telling you, like I don't even think my followers are real. Like I don't even like soon like my wife's gonna be like, you gotta let it go, Nick. Like,
that should be a
real.
BuzzFeed quiz. Are you a content creator or are you schizophrenic? And then you just take like a 20 question survey. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like it's crazy because like with you, your face is in all your videos and like up close in all your videos. So people like know you. You know what I mean? So
yeah, they know like the pores. They know the pores in my face.
Yeah, like like we've never talked face to face. We've never been on video.
Yeah,
and like even now, it's like I'm like nervous talking to you because I'm like, oh, that's the famous guy. You know what I mean? Like I've never seen your face and talked to you.
Famous guy. No, I'm the exact same way with you. I'm like, do some behind the scenes thing. Dance for me, please.
Glitch real quick,
Yeah, glitch for me. I had someone. Oh my god, the worst. This is my. It wasn't like terrible, but like the strangest interaction. I had a couple. I had an interaction where some guy at Publix. We have Publix down here in the good old south of Florida. Disney World and alligators and all that. But
I just thought Florida was just Disney World.
I know, yeah. No, we escaped.
Like more.
Yeah, we broke out at some point. There's
when you're like, oh, I'm in Florida, I was like,
where
you live in Disney?
Yeah, what park?
And you're like, no, there's other stuff around it. Like
Animal Kingdom.
I was like, Jay, I'm coming. I'm going to be in Disney. Let's hang out. And you're like, okay, that's hours away.
4 hours away from me.
I was like, oh, there's more.
Yeah.
I thought you lived in Florida. You're like, yeah, just not by Disney.
Yeah, and I'm like, Nick, I'm going to Cali. You're like, I'm in Las Vegas. That's. I'm not. I'm like, just meet me there. I'll let you know my flights, and then like I'll get when I'm at the airport, you can pick me up. I'll call you.
It's literally the same thing.
You're like that's honestly, nowhere. Yeah, I know. It's funny, but I had someone who I was at Publix, just like picking up like a sub, just getting a sandwich, and this guy's like the worker was like he yells, and like it's around Florida. We got a lot of elderly people. It's just these elderly people. and they're just like, this young guy's like, hey, it's the sweat guy. It's the sweat guy.
Sweat
And I'm
guy.
like, and
That's
I just have
amazing.
all these people who don't like, I look like they're looking at me like I have a bomb strapped to my chest. They're like, and I don't even know. I just start laughing and I'm like, haha, yeah. Yeah. He's like, I love your videos. I love when you sweat. And like everyone
Oh,
around us could take that in any way possible.
oh,
Yeah. It was,
that's the
yeah,
worst.
it
The
was
sweat guy. That's great. I love
sweat guy.
that.
I
That's
literally,
amazing.
oh my gosh, that's why I forget what it was because I was doing I brought this up in a previous podcast episode, but I used to do Why John, where like it was just like a guy like unintentionally killing his pet or
It just
something like
kills all the
that.
pets.
Yeah.
So good.
And that series, I realized, and that's kind of like, you'll remember this because that's when I started trying to kind of just pivot away from just like the gaming genre. Like I wanted to grow into like just general comedy sketch videos. And that was the first series for me that blew up. But then from that point on, I was the sweat guy. And I'm like, I have to make sure that on my gravestone, I'm not here lies the sweat
He
guy.
lies the sweat guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, luckily, I think that you're no longer just the sweat guy.
Yeah.
So
I'm like the
that's
sweat
good.
guy and VFX guy. Those are
Yeah,
the
and VFX guy.
the
Yeah,
VFX
and
sweaty
the
guy.
damn guy.
The damn guy, the gnaw guy.
Damn. The
Yeah.
gnaw guy.
Yeah.
That dude. Your one video with the you're eating and the person that's vegan comes up.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. That's a great video.
Yeah.
So
Oh
good.
man, that
So
one
good.
I was like, oh my god, I have to make that. But yeah, that
Like
was
no, and the building just like
yeah.
that's so good.
Ironically, it's so funny, and this is gonna like shock everybody when they realize it. I've made like so the damn guy Florida man with all the tattoos and stuff, and the gnaw guy like just yelling gnaw and all that. I've only made one of those videos each once per year for like the past 2 years.
Real?
Isn't that crazy? I've only and like people think they're like, oh, it's the damn guy, it's the gnaw guy. Last year I made one unpopular opinion video, that gnaw series. And then Florida Man. I only did one of each like this past year. Cause
That's insane.
yeah.
They've done that well where they just became you.
Yeah. They and that is like it's so crazy how like the original of like Florida Man, for instance, like of me like eating like chicken and like saying like this is dry damn and all that. That's like I think like 3 years old now, and people will still like say it to this day. I mean, my goodness, like I literally have the original Gnaw donations as merch on my my cup from like 2 years ago. But yeah, it's great. Do you have any like what's your like uh even like outside of the videos that you do that have like the several like 100 million views, 100 million views, 80 million views? I can't get over that. That's just crazy. But like what are the videos that people say you're known for the most? Like what's your thing that you're known for?
I would say, the How Different Games videos at that time were the ones that everybody was like, if someone would ask me like, oh, you do content? I'm like, yeah, what do I do? And I would be like, oh, I do the How Different Games videos, and I would show one, and they'd be like, oh my god, I've seen this. So that was like the one that I was kind of known for, and then recently the green screen videos, I think those ones just did well,
just
like
blew
everywhere.
up.
Where like everyone was like, you're the guy that beats up the guy in the green screen scene, which is my little brother. I'm always like stepping on him or like hitting him in the head with a Minecraft sword. So I think those are what I guess you could say what I'm known for.
Yeah. You got those. I mean, I look at some of these like formulas that you develop, and it feels like from the outside, I know you do like a lot of concepts and maybe videos that, don't do as well, but my goodness, it feels like anything you touch just turns into just pure gold. I remember,
I appreciate it, man.
yeah. I mean, when you started growing like crazy, and I'd love to talk about this if you're willing to at all, about you joining the YouTube Shorts program early on, which for anyone listening, Nick was one of like the first, truly official YouTube Shorts creators, where they even like, I think, forgive me if I'm wrong, but they reached out to you, right?
Yeah. I was super great. I don't know how it like happened or how it worked, but they found me on TikTok. It was when YouTube started going into shorts and doing short form content. They reached out and they were like, hey, do you want to be part of this program? And I did it, and it was super helpful. We got to have these calls, and I got to talk to other creators, and do all these and learn things, and all of it, all of it was super helpful.
Mhm.
And yeah, that first year with YouTube Shorts, we hit, I think it wasn't the first year. I think it was the year after. I
Mhm.
I know that we did like 1,000,000 subscribers in a
Yeah.
year, and it
Yeah.
was like the craziest. I've
Yeah.
never in a million years would have thought that that would have happened.
Yeah.
And then it kept going crazy, and it
Mhm.
was those like the green screen video that took off
Mhm.
insane. And like there was, I mean, we were looking at it one time, and I was like, Jaden, I don't want to do the green screen videos anymore. And we were like talking in a call,
Yeah.
and you're like, all right, just click on it. And then I clicked on it. It said like we got like seven hundred
Yeah.
thousand
Something
dollars from
crazy.
one video.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you were like, "What are you doing? You gotta do this." And I was like, "All right, you're right." Like,
Mhm. I feel no,
you know
I
what
do
I
the
mean?
exact same thing. Like I'll realize I'll be like,
Yeah.
okay, like my unpopular opinion series or the Florida Man. I'm like, okay, I mean, how much did this like video originally really get me? Oh, 800,000 followers. Okay. Well, all right. I
You
guess
kinda
I
just have to do it. And it's
yeah,
like
you're
one of those
forced
things where
into it.
you don't look at it when it's happening. You
Yeah.
kinda just like, it's like, "Oh, this video's doing great." And like
Mhm.
I always try, there's some people that are so um analytic hungry, and they study everything, and they look at what
Oh
performs, and they
yeah.
did this and that. I
Mhm.
understand that. I understand it completely. Like why wouldn't you do that? You have
Mhm.
to be crazy not to do it. And I think I am a little crazy for not looking at my analytics and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. But it could hinder you. Like you could be
Mhm.
so obsessed
Mhm.
with your analytics that it'll almost stop you from making content. And at the end of the day, like I think you just have to focus on making good content,
Mhm.
and practicing, and constantly innovating, and doing new things, and
Mhm.
testing, and then go from there. And then yeah, you could
Yeah.
study the analytics, but I think a lot of people fail, and they kind of focus too much on the analytics, and they really don't focus on creating content.
Mhm. And then it's like it's also perspective as well because like you said yourself, you consider yourself a filmmaker, right? And that's
Yeah.
how I see myself as well. Like I don't like to like I love content creating. That concept of making these internet videos, making it for YouTube, TikTok. I love where I am, right? I'm super grateful. I would argue and say like I love the idea of filmmaking more. I love the idea of making these pieces. Whether like how about this? If I could premiere, I mean, this sounds like egotistical, but like if I could like have my skit or like make a short film or something every single week or every couple weeks and premiere it in a movie theater with a bunch of fans that love to watch it, like that would almost be like that would be the route that I would love to
Yeah.
have happen, having that feeling of some like a real materialistic like this audience that you can like interact with and all that, where the views and all that, I for one I love it, and again it's so hard to even conceptualize it. For one, it's just you can't
Yeah.
conceptualize 1,000,000 views, barely even like 1,000 views. I can't process what 1,000 people, maybe when you're at like a stadium you'll see like
I know, right?
8,000 people, but nonetheless I like to do it because of the filmmaking, where there are definitely a lot of creators who are more like on the influencer side. They're more analytical. They care a lot more about the thumbnail. They spend, a month trying to figure out a different thumbnail or a vlog or where to go on location to film at this specific, the oldest Burger King in existence. And they,
Yeah.
have everything down to an exact science of how the algorithm with the retention works. Um, I mean, you and I both incorporate those kinds of things, I think maybe more subconsciously over the years. Like we've learned to make the videos perform better, but it doesn't take away from the video you're trying to produce. You're trying to make a really high quality piece of content. And that's something that, yeah, ever since I've known you, I've had like the highest respect for. That you've never just you don't try to you don't try to just make a cheap fast video and then get it out and then not try to innovate it in the next video, if that makes sense.
Definitely, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I mean, right back at you. Like I see it too. Like every like your writing is just fantastic, and your editing style, and your
Mm-hmm.
beats, and your comedy, and your I don't know. You just you're very talented at it, and that's one of the
Mhm.
things too. Like I think that's why I was like, I have to reach out to this guy, and we
Mhm.
gotta chat, because it's just like
Yeah.
you're it's extremely talented,
Yeah.
and again, like talking about the the analytics, like everybody
Mhm.
gets stuck in this analysis
Mhm.
paralysis, like
Yeah.
early on
Yeah.
when they're content creators, and they'll study analytics, and I think once you get to that higher level of content creation, like like when you get to like big content creator status, like where it's these people that have full teams and everything, and then you
Mhm.
could break everything down and you figure out, okay, how long
Mhm.
this thumbnail, it's all great. But I'm saying in the beginning, with all these early, when you're first starting out content
Mhm.
creation, just create content, create good content,
Yeah.
try to innovate, don't look too much into the
Yeah.
analytics, and just go,
Yeah.
because
What
you
is
don't
some
want to be stuck.
advice? What is some advice that you can give, like people who are interested in creating content, interested in editing, or there's a lot of people that just want to be famous or whatever.
Yeah.
What's your advice to the content you've already made, or the content you're making, and just what you've learned over these past few years?
um I think when it comes to, I mean, one of my favorite things is talking to people who want to become content creators and want to start content, or
Hmm.
trying to start their new pages. And I, and I love like watching new pages grow and seeing
Hmm.
people do well. And that's one of my favorite things. And I love seeing it with my friends and being able to like coach people through these scenarios. And I think it's like a passion of mine, is like content creation and like teaching people.
Hmm.
So I I I filmed a few videos, and I'm post, because like last time we talked, I had my old YouTube channel
Hmm.
that's just dead. I let it die. I was posting my magic tutorials there. I'm turning it into a kind of like a content creation tutorial page
Hmm.
for for new people. That's what I'm going to be doing.
That's
So it's
awesome.
like
That's
yeah, I'm
exciting to
excited
hear.
for it. And it's one of the things that I'm super passionate about.
Hmm.
I love, because it's like a lot of the tutorials out there right now. It's all big geared towards current content creators,
Hmm.
and there's nothing. I've always seen it when I always like have people and friends and family that want to start YouTube channels. So also daunting, like where you should start. And I'm
Hmm.
trying to create a place for that to start. But
Yeah.
going on to advice that I think for people starting, I think 3 months is a sweet period. That's what I always tell people. I said, come out with a plan,
Hmm.
post for 3 months, and if nothing happens from it, you gave it your best shot.
Hmm.
But people always quit so soon. Like they always say, I'm going to start YouTube, and then they post for a week, they get no views,
Hmm.
and then they quit. And it's one of those things where I think if you stick with it for 3 months, have a solid plan, have a consistent schedule, and post, and not saying like you can't tweak things. Like I think don't tweak anything for 3 months. 3 months is where I think, like even with me too,
Hmm.
3 months is a sweet spot where it's like, if you're doing something and it's not working, and you're tweaking it a little bit and it's still not working, scrap it.
Hmm.
It's probably not a good idea.
Right.
But I think when people are first starting out, come up with the plan, haven't find whatever you're passionate about, figure out what's missing. That's kind of like the big thing with content creation. That's what you did, that's what I did. When
Hmm.
we were like, how could we fill this void in content creation? You looked at skits and you were like, they're missing visual effects.
Hmm.
Like there's not nobody putting out high quality visual effects and comedy skits and doing it well, and that's where you filled that
Right. Yeah.
spot, because you knew that you could tackle that area and you
Hmm.
could do well there. Same thing with me with visual effects and gaming. I saw on
Hmm.
short form content creation, when it came to, I thought about Freddie W and Quarter Digital. I was like, nobody's doing this for short form.
Hmm.
Like this is missing. I knew that I did visual effects and I could fill that spot. And I think
Hmm.
that's when people are starting off, figure out what you're passionate about,
Hmm.
and look in that niche, and figure out where how you could provide value.
Hmm.
Once you have that plan, develop that plan of the style of videos you want to do. Study other content creators. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Hmm.
Tweak it a little bit.
Hmm.
Add your 2 cents and
Yeah. Your own
your
flavor.
style to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, your own flavor, and then run with it and have that 3 month plan. And during those 3 months, if things are working, and post a bunch of different ones, throw a bunch of stuff at the wall.
Hmm.
Whatever works, tweak it a little bit, do a new version of it, tweak it a little bit, do a new version of it. And then at that 3 month mark, if it's working, then continue it. But
Yeah.
if it's at 3 months, it's not working, reevaluate, go back,
Hmm.
try it again. But yeah, I think for new content creators, that's kind of like what I always tell everybody, is like, just stick with it. I always see people just start
Hmm.
and then they just
They
don't
just
stick with
give
it.
up.
And it's like,
Yeah.
it's such a
Yeah.
shame. Like you got to, again, you do have to have that passion for it.
Yeah.
You have to want it,
Yeah.
but also at the end of the day, like you're not going to see growth. But right now, like I think right now is the one of the best times for people to start. like
Oh yeah,
with
the
YouTube Shorts,
yeah.
man,
Oh, it's
the
crazy.
exposure that you can get right off bat, like, with like I started that other page we were looking at.
Mhm.
I didn't promote it anywhere. I didn't announce it anywhere. Started that other page. Like the second short had like 10,000 views. The next
Mhm.
short after that, 8,000 views. Like the
Mhm.
fact that you could start a new page and get viewership like
Yeah.
that is like
I'd
it's unheard of.
I'd
Like that
love
wasn't
for
a
you
thing.
if you can even like talk about that, channel a little bit about what it is. But yeah, like you already like without even, being this big brand of a channel, because it's brand new. You were getting views, you were getting followers, subscribers. Um, yeah, like
Yeah.
just talk about what that was.
So yeah, um I find the whole like alpha male thing and like, the grind never stops. And like, it's in like black and white and you're like talking again.
Yeah.
I like, I'm a sucker for that stuff. Sometimes I'll throw on some motivational videos and like be
Mhm.
like, yeah, I got to work out more and I gotta be able to like carry my wife out of a house fire.
Yeah.
But like, I love that concept, the alpha male concept. So my brother and I, we were
And
like,
then run back in for no reason.
and run, yeah, run back in just to feel the burn. It's like, I think that area is so like untapped. So my brother and
Yeah.
I were like, man, like we got to do this in fitness. So we created a fitness page called the GringGarage, and and it's basically like the most cringy, like like we're doing the most insane things of where like it's just rage baiting basically. I tell
Yeah.
like one of the videos we did is like you don't know, you don't need to learn how to fight, like as long as you have muscle you'll that if you have more muscle than the person you'll win in a fight, and that got like 70 comments,
Yeah.
and people
Oh,
were just like
yeah.
actually
Oh,
so
people are
mad at me.
mad. It's so
They were
funny. Like
mad
no
mad
one's laughing.
and
Like me. I'm dying at this because I find it's so hilarious. And then
yeah,
people are
dude.
like, "Yo, you shouldn't be saying stuff like this." Or like just whatever. It's like that's not right. That's not the correct way. It's just so
But
crazy.
for those of you guys that do check it out and watch this podcast and go and check out the page,
Yeah.
keep the secret. Don't don't reveal
Yeah.
that it's fake.
Yeah.
It just play into it. Maybe rage bait some
I'll
people in the
definitely
comments. But
I'll link it in the description.
yeah, but we're gonna we posted a little bit, then we stopped because we are like, let's just see how it does.
Yeah, yeah.
So we posted, saw it, did pretty well. So we are
Mhm.
gonna be bringing it back. But it's one of those things where, man, it's fun to play a
Yeah.
character. Like it's fun to just be in character and play a
Yeah.
character and not break it because people loved it. But that's like step fact that
Uh-huh.
page, I could start that page and have it do well without promoting it
Yeah.
anywhere, just shows that like right now
Yeah.
is a prime spot. So if you're thinking about content creation, you're listening to this podcast, and you think you want to do it,
Mhm.
give it a go, give it a try,
Absolutely. And it
learn
proves
as
you
much as you can.
yeah, and it proves because you did that out of just wanting to. It wasn't some complex business plan
Yeah,
like to try to
totally.
expand your brand online. It was you just wanting to do this hilarious projects that you were passionate about with your brother. I love it. And when you are passionate about it, it typically if you are passionate enough about it, at some point I think truly it will succeed, whatever it might
Yeah.
be. Even just I mean I think just even just in life in general. But I think that's something that you said earlier that I wanted to touch on was that I genuinely think you have to be passionate about the thing you're doing, and it does go outside of content creating, whether it's a business or anything, because that's what I've realized in the last like couple of years is that I've realized like, oh my gosh, like I remember someone jokingly telling me like I was an entrepreneur, which I laughed at, and then I realized I'm like, shoot, that's like that is what it is, like
Yeah.
I've started this own business. I'm self-employed. I don't have another job outside of this is my full-time job. um and it what it took was me being obsessed with it like you for well over like a decade and a half for it to finally even start to become relevant in some way. I think people, and this is going to be like a controversial opinion, but I think people who want to be famous, like that is the worst approach
Oh yeah.
to trying to find success in that. Like if you like no one gets famous because they just want to be famous. There isn't
Mhm.
there's no that just doesn't exist. And now maybe there are people who have that, but they're also extremely talented and they're passionate about something. But I promise you, and to like anyone out there, like if you want to be a YouTuber or something like that, like you got to find the thing that makes you become that YouTuber, TikToker in the first place. Like you can't just say, I'm going to be a YouTuber, so I'm going to do this. No, it doesn't work like that. You need to be able to have, like, if you love creating, it could be the simpler things. Like if it's you love Minecraft, so you think you can really like add something you love creating, then you can make a Minecraft channel. Or if you're into dancing, you can, post your, performances online and all that, but you're just not, you can't take it from the other way. I don't know what your, view of that is, but
I completely disagree. No, I'm joking. It's
cuts
yeah,
the podcast
no,
ends right there.
Yeah, right here. It's like, yeah, I don't agree with you, man. I'm leaving. I think, yeah, if you go into it with the numbers and you want to be famous and you go into it, you're never going to be satisfied because you're going to be unsatisfied with the viewers you get in the beginning, and that's when you'll ultimately quit. The I think that if you go into it thinking about it's a numbers game, you're gonna quit because you're gonna be unsatisfied, and then you have to be satisfied with the content you're putting out. Once you're satisfied with the content that you're putting out, then you're gonna keep doing it because you're gonna be happy about what you're putting out and people are watching it. Even if it's a minuscule amount of people, you're gonna be excited that people are experiencing what you had, the value that you provided. But yeah, definitely don't go at it with the thought of being famous.
Yeah.
But like, again, you can go at it with being like, oh, like I do want to, like, if you know that, oh, I want to be on YouTube, that's great. Like you want to create content.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
But if you go in it with the mindset, like you said, of like, I want to be famous, it's probably
yeah, because you could be someone. I mean, you could define us like that we love creating content. Oh, we love the idea of making videos for YouTube. Like that is a good approach to viewing it. But yeah, if you go in like, oh, I want to be famous, have millions of subscribers, it's like, okay, well, you got to have the backing to get that in the first place. You can't just automatically have that.
Totally.
And, just to add in there is no other way of getting it for anyone listening. Like you just got, like, there is no secret. You don't have to promote your videos. You don't have to buy followers or buy views or, like it will nowadays. Back, a decade ago, it was much harder. Now there's no excuse. You can, if you work on something hard enough, it will 100% show up on the For You page, the shorts feed, reels feed, my God, there's so many. Snapchat, Explore or Spotlight. Gosh, Snapchat Spotlight.
Everywhere like the issue is when it was with YouTube, you could create a 10-minute long YouTube video. That's the only place where that content's going to live. Like, yes, you could post it on Facebook maybe, but like now you create short form content, which again, like I'm a big fan of short form content. I think if you want to start a channel, start with short form content, slowly introduce long form. But now short form content's everywhere. You make one piece of content, you could put that, like you said, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat,
just
Twitter, or Twitter X, YouTube. It can go everywhere. So if you're thinking about it right now is the time for content creation. I personally think so.
Yeah, wholeheartedly.
I think it's the move.
Wholeheartedly.
Totally.
And I would also recommend for anyone to post across all of them if they can, because I think that's the best way of growing. I definitely wanted to kind of like start to conclude things with just like even outside of like just content creating. I've tried to and want to kind of dedicate this kind of podcast and just the theme around just life and just just the philosophy behind what drives people and what pushes people, even just outside of content creating for you. I know it's a very loaded question, but like what is life? No. What is this all for you? Like what do you feel like you are kind of just like on this earth for to do? Like, is it content creating? Is it a different perspective of that? Just a different, way of looking at it. Like for me, like I've thought like, cause I'll have, you get a few of those comments every so often. They're like, oh man, you helped me through like depression or something. And you're just like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And whether like, you're maybe the smallest piece of the puzzle to that's just like an insane thing. And for me, like, that's even me with this podcast, trying to do more with just my life and trying to, kind of pursue, deeper, routes. But yeah, just for you, what's the reason behind all of this? What's your life look like? Just your mentality of going through it all.
Because I want to be famous. Little cherry on the top right there, you know what I'm saying? He just completely disregards everything.
The credits immediately. The credits. That was the best answer. That was the best callback ever. Oh my god, that was so funny.
I mean, honestly, the answer is going to sound like it's because I want to be famous. No, it's just because I wanted to just like make people's day better.
Yeah,
I think
leave your mark. Yeah,
you know, like it's just a typical answer. It's like, I want to spread laughter. It's like, all right, you freaking jerk. No, it's yeah, it's like during when I first started content creation, we were all trapped in our house. You know what I mean? Like everybody was sad, and like I was like, you know what? Like this would be fun. I was making funny videos. It took a second away. From everybody having a crappy time. So I think that was kind of cool to see everybody laugh. And like you said, you get those messages sometimes. Like, hey, like watching your stuff really helps me out. It brightens my day. And that just makes me feel good, and that just keeps me going, and just like spread laughter, spread cheer, make people happy. Like I think that that's fulfilling. It makes me feel good inside. And just being able to like share my creations with a large audience is just like, and I've always wanted to do this. Like this has been my passion since I was super young. I always wanted to be a YouTuber. I always wanted to make gaming VFX videos. And like that just drive is in me, and I'm so grateful and happy that I'm able to do this. And I think that's a part of me why I want to create that other page where helping people start content creation, because I think that's what I kind of I feel like I'm lacking. Like I love making these videos, yes, but I also want to like help people in a sense. Like, you can help them, you can make them laugh, you can make their day better. But like I feel like I've done it. And I feel like I could teach other people to do it. And I have. I've taught my friends how to do it, and people do it. And I see people quit, and I see people stop, and I see like when I know that how happy this has made me, and how amazing it's made my life, content creation. I want other people to experience this. And I think that's kind of why I want to take that other route. I kind of want to help people in a sense, like to better themselves and make content creation. And I don't know. Again, like I think that's what's kind of lacking.
I think that's a totally great response. I mean, and it's just so funny. You and I, like, we're on the same page with everything. Timeline wise, we'll probably like retire at the exact same time too one day. But we're both like, I think it's time, and then we can both live in Florida or Disney World. Sorry, but
we could buy our what was it? Bugattis.
Yeah,
Bugattis. Do you remember that one time where we were like, where it was like YouTube Shorts was gonna pay monetization? And we're like, oh man, can't wait. Me and you are gonna retire.
Oh my god,
we're gonna make millions. And then I checked it, and I was like, oh, okay, all right. I guess,
13 cents for 1,000 views. You're like,
I was like, all right, that's over. We tried, man.
We can start we'll start a 401k. We can do that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I had to do that call back because it's amazing.
Yeah, we're on the same path, and so with my podcast, like just wanting to kind of just pursue deeper meaning. I've already, like, with only a couple episodes, I was totally expecting like these first few episodes to not even like get any views, let alone any like comments or interaction at all. And
they've been great. You've been getting like such great interaction.
Yeah, it's been nothing. I've never, like, even with my main channels, the skit channel, the gaming channel on YouTube, TikTok, whatever. It's like the thoroughness, if that's a word, I think it is.
I wouldn't know.
It doesn't matter. Right. It's the feeling. The just how deep the comments are, just the comments being made, just saying like, oh my gosh, this is so great. I'm so happy that you're starting this, and just so much more detail. And just, it does definitely feel like a really, like, I just definitely feel like I'm doing something good with my life, further than just like the entertainment, like hopefully providing something more, I guess maybe more knowledgeable, more mature, more informative. And I can see the same thing in you, with you wanting to potentially start this like a course channel, or just teaching early young creators how to create quality content. I mean, it's definitely there's definitely a drive that, both you and I have that are very similar. But what is it for you? Um, like why do you feel like, I mean, maybe this will be more just like deeper about you yourself, but like, what is it about entertaining people or wanting to teach people? Like you're clearly coming across as like someone who wants to help others in that way. Maybe like, this sounds silly, but not in the sense of like, health or like even like being like a pilot with flying someone somewhere, transportation or construction or anything. Like, why is it entertainment? Why is it more of this media based outlet, would you say? I mean, I guess that can correlate with because it's the passion of yours, but does it go any deeper than that?
I think. Hmm. It's a good question. I mean, like again, yeah, like it definitely is the passion. Like I've been in film my whole life. I
Mm-hmm.
I love creating. It's it's that creative outlet
Mm-hmm.
of being able to create. Um, but yeah, I think when it comes to like the helping and like wanting to start that page, I think it's a lot of uh seeing it all around. You
Mm-hmm.
always see people that I don't want to start a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I don't really know where to start. I don't know how to edit, or like I don't have a camera. I don't know where to start. Like it's like all these excuses, and it's like it's so sad because I'm like, man, like you really right now is such a great opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to see people
Mm-hmm.
capitalize on it, and
Yeah.
there's so people that won't because it seems too daunting when it really
Mm-hmm.
is. It's super simple. Like you just you could anybody could do it. Like I promise you, anybody could do
Mm-hmm.
it. Me and you aren't special at all.
Mm-hmm.
Takes like
Yeah.
maybe a few tutorials on YouTube, and
Yeah.
so it's I think a lot of it is like a lot of it is that like just you know to long story short or answer your question in a bunch of weird ways. I just like content creation. I like creating. I
Mm-hmm.
like film. I like
Yeah.
making and sharing it with people.
Yeah.
I
And
think
that
that's
became
probably
the outlet of, yeah, trying to entertain people, help others, and potentially help in more ways down the line.
totally yeah.
Yeah. I want to ask you like a deeper question because I think about this a lot myself. Do you
Mhm.
ever feel, do you ever feel ungrateful for the opportunity that you've had as a creator?
Yeah, I mean that's a big battle. I think sometimes you really have to sit back and force yourself to be grateful. It's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the times where you get roped up in things and you're like, what am I doing?
It just
Like you're like,
flies by.
how
Yeah.
am I complaining about this? You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean? Like there's times where you're like, what, like what's what's going on? So I think yeah, there's definitely times where you have to sit back and like think about, I always think about my younger self. Like
Mm-hmm.
this is what I'm doing. And then a lot of the times you get in that thing of where you feel so ungrateful that you feel like you're not doing enough. I'm sure you've been in
Yeah.
that position where like
Yeah.
you're just slacking and you're like, oh
Mm-hmm.
man, like what am I doing? Like I'm really like like when you're in those
Mm-hmm.
down waves, like when
Yeah.
you're at the bottom, you always feel like it's like yeah when when at that point you're like did I just throw all that away,
Mm-hmm.
like you feel like
Yeah.
when it goes down and I like because
Yeah.
sometimes yeah like I'll slack, like
Mm-hmm.
like a video game will come out and I'll be a loser and I'll play some video games and I won't post as much and then my views will tank and
Mm-hmm.
then it's hard and then it won't go up and I'm
Mm-hmm.
like man did I just throw everything away because I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to play some video games and I didn't take it
Yeah.
seriously and I
I
feel
know. I feel that
so
too.
awful.
Yeah.
So yeah, like
Yeah.
there's definitely those times where you definitely have to practice gratitude. You have to think about everything and be grateful and
How about
just be
a
happy where you're
how about a slightly different perspective? What about uh do you ever feel undeserving of, just kind of just this world that you've like, because I know for myself, like I just sit back sometimes and I'm like, gosh, I mean, obviously we won't go into it, but our income is like pretty much ad revenue and sponsorships. And,
at.
some of these sponsorships, I say humbly, come in and they're relatively big. And you're just like I think like I mean, oh my gosh, is this video this you know 15 to 60-second video worth this kind of money? And like the amount, like what people um what a lot of people have to do to get that kind of, you know, amount with a video I make in a short time. You and I, we do, maybe we'll go a couple weeks at a time, or maybe even like a few months at a time without a sponsorship. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, it'll just be a huge, huge, little, I don't know, payment out of nowhere. So like even things with that or ad revenue or whatever, do you ever feel just where you are, do you feel like you just don't deserve it?
Yeah, I definitely think it's that like imposter syndrome of
Yeah.
like where you're kind of you're like, all right, like really, like it's just I don't know, it's just like it's kind of surreal, like it's almost like out of body, like you just
Mm-hmm.
feel like this is not like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely feel like that sometimes where you're like, this is like I don't deserve like this stuff, like
Mm-hmm.
for the amount of workload. Because yes, like Logan and I, we work our butt off, we edit day and night,
Mm-hmm.
constantly filming.
Yeah.
But I worked awful jobs before, you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
used to work in an oil shop. I used to, I was a bartender, I was a waiter. Like I've,
Mm-hmm.
I've done these things, and
Yeah.
like you just don't, you're like, really making like that amount for this piece of content for a 15-second video,
Mm-hmm.
like you said. It's just like, but that's why I always encourage everybody to get into content creation.
Yeah.
I'm like, if you have any amount of like drive where you
Yeah.
want to
You
create
might as well
videos or you want to
try.
be on
Yeah.
YouTube, you might as well try, because it's
Mm-hmm.
like even with a certain small amount of followers, like you could still, with the monetization and brand deals, like you could still do really well.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen it. Like when we were at 100,000 followers
Mm-hmm.
on TikTok, which is very doable by anybody.
Yeah.
Like it's very, you could do it in a year, 100%.
Yeah.
Um, and you can get great brand deals from that.
Mm-hmm.
Like with that amount of follower, you get some good engagement. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
right now with social media, there's there's been no other time where following doesn't matter. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
following does not matter anymore. Like
Mm-hmm.
it really doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'll have times where I'm getting 2,000 views, 6,000 views,
Mm-hmm.
10,000 views per video consistently,
Mm-hmm.
and I have 3 million followers.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like
Yeah,
one of those
it's
things where it's like it
right
doesn't
there.
matter
That
anymore.
is a crazy concept that a lot of people don't
Yeah.
get outside of content creating. The
Mhm.
old content creating world was your subscribers correlated almost 100% to the amount of views you were getting. But now,
Yeah.
especially on like platforms like TikTok, your following means nothing. It means
Nothing. Zero.
nothing. It might help you get your first 1,000 views, but
Yeah. It looks
after
pretty.
that, yeah, it looks pretty. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
pretty there's like a number, and then there's a dot, and then there's another number next to it, and that's it. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
just a
Like
follower
it's
count.
really like I'll have some videos where I'll have a video at 3 million views.
Hmm.
Next video, 10,000 views.
Yeah.
Like it just like there's no,
Yeah.
it's all about, that's why there's no better time to start a page. Like you
Hmm.
just start a page, and like
Yeah.
you have that opportunity that large creators
Hmm.
have. And I feel like there's been like a sway recently within
Hmm.
like the past year where it's even more so.
Hmm.
Like I'm seeing pages that have 100,000 followers, and they're consistently getting 1 million views per video
Hmm.
consistently. And you're like,
Yeah.
wow, like it's really,
Yeah.
it's all changed,
Yeah.
which is, it's amazing. It's great. There's so
Uh-huh.
much opportunity out there right
Yeah,
now.
it really is. And just to,
Yeah.
I will say, to be devil's advocate, um, I would say, and I've put it like this before, it's the easiest time to grow just an unfathomable following with, but it's also one of the hardest times to stay relevant. I mean,
Very
like
true. Yeah.
creators, and you can go several, because you had one video that got you 20 million views. So for the next like 2 weeks, you're set for like, 5 million, 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 million. One did bad, but you're back up. But then like within a month's time, uh, you're fighting for that next, spike in the algorithm. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely, and it's why, I mean, I'll just say for myself, it's why I blew up in the first place. I don't know if I would have been one of those creators to blow up a decade ago, but I
Yeah.
definitely am with, I mean, clearly, because it did happen, but I'm definitely one of those creators with this new algorithm that is curated to just finding like brand new talent on a daily basis. But with that definitely
Totally.
comes trying to stay relevant for sure.
And that's like, it's that like relevancy is like man, it's like a drug. And like
Mm-hmm.
that's where you see a lot of creators quit because
Mm-hmm.
they'll not hit the same viewership that they
Mm-hmm.
hit, and that'll go on for 2 months.
Yeah.
And when you're a content creator and you're doing it consistently, getting a viewership, and then you spend 2 months and you think you're shadow banned, and
Mm-hmm.
you think you're not hitting your views, and you think that everybody's against you, and then you see content creators that have like 1 million followers quit,
Mm-hmm.
they walk away,
Yeah.
and
Oh,
it's
it's
just like,
crazy.
man, like
It's crazy.
you just gotta stick with it. The amount of times that I've been so down where you're
Mm-hmm.
just like, all right, it's over. But I
Mm-hmm.
know I'm not gonna stop because I love content creation.
Yeah.
So I'm still gonna post videos. I'm still gonna keep going, even if
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting it goes keeps going down. I get like 0 views. I'm still gonna
Mm-hmm.
be doing it because I just
Yeah.
enjoy making videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's what everybody has to have that mentality of. Everybody's gonna always hit that brick wall with content creation.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be like, oh, it's over. Like, is it?
Yeah.
But like, as long as you keep doing it, you're never gonna die out.
Yeah.
You're never gonna fall off. Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
never, because you're still making the videos. It's the
Mm-hmm.
moment when these creators just quit and they say, oh, it's I got shadow banned and I'm not getting views. Everybody's
Mm-hmm.
against me. It's because the platform. It's like, no, it's not because of the platform. It's because your videos are you're not putting as much effort. You gave up. You
Mm-hmm.
think that everybody's against you. You just got to keep going. Like, that's the thing. Like, just keep pushing,
Mm-hmm.
keep going, and eventually you'll have that spike. Because right now, yeah, maybe in the past that would happen, but right now you could have that. Like I said, like when you looked at my page, you're like, "Oh, it's over for you." Like, just joking. You didn't say that. I love doing this because you're like, "Please, Nick,"
You're gonna
but
get.
like,
You're
Jaden,
literally gonna cancel the
I
podcast
know,
before it's even
no,
started. That's
no, but
crazy.
but like, honestly, we had a conversation where like,
Yeah.
what went
Yeah.
wrong?
Yeah.
Honestly, what went wrong? Like, this doesn't make sense. You have this amount
Mm-hmm.
of followers, you're getting awful views,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like one of those things where you look back and you reevaluate and you go again and you just keep posting, and then I had terrible views, and then boom,
Mm-hmm.
the next one, I
Mm-hmm.
think it got like 8 million
Yeah.
views. Like, it's like one of those things where it's
It's almost
doesn't make sense.
reassuring. It's almost reassuring nowadays to like you could be in a rut, like you have, I have, um, you can be in a rut, and it's almost like you almost like don't care because you realize
Exactly.
like for like because again it does matter. You do still need to keep up with great content. Like if either of us just started putting out just trash content, well, we can't be
Yeah.
surprised that we never grow again. But when you have such a passion for content creating, um, and with this algorithm, you kind of start to learn like, okay, this, even though my last 3 videos got less than 300,000 views or something like that, or yeah, you did a sponsorship and it hurt your algorithm, and now, I mean, I've definitely had videos. I remember posting a video, I think this past year, and it got like on TikTok, which I haven't cared as much about TikTok anymore. YouTube's become my baby, which, by the way, I'm about to have YouTube be my biggest platform, which I'm very proud of.
That's amazing, dude.
But uh yeah, I mean, YouTube has been very loving in that way. But yeah, TikTok will just kill your views. Will just absolutely
Yeah.
kill your views, but you just have to know like, oh, this will come back.
It's just this. I mean, and when I was in the one thing that I always like refer to, and I always think about. Yeah,
Mm,
I had this um, teacher in elementary school, and he was
mm,
talking about life,
mm,
and he drew like this line of doing this. It was
mm,
like this wave, and he just said like, you're throughout life, you're always going to be here, and you're going to be here, and you're going to be here, and you're going to be here.
mm,
You'll always, sometimes you're down, sometimes you're up, but it always goes back up, and it always
mm.
goes back down.
Yeah.
So you just gotta ride the waves,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the same thing with social media. It's constantly goes up and constantly goes down. Like, you're
Mm-hmm.
never gonna I'm never gonna hit a rut, and it's just like, that's it, no more views
That's it,
forever. And
folks.
like, the
That's it.
more that this happens, the
Yeah.
more it reassures me that
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
always gonna be like this forever.
Yeah.
And this has been going on for the past 3 years. I have terrible views, then it goes
Mm-hmm.
up, and I'm on top of the world, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
millions of views, and then it goes down, and I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, it's over, and then it goes back up. So
Yeah.
it's like, especially with this recent rut that I was in that we
Mm-hmm.
talked about, and I was able to, I went hard, and it went back up.
Yeah. Fix it right away.
It's
Yeah.
just, dude, it was, I honestly, I was like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is it.
This is it.
It's like,
I
but
remember you kept saying like you were joking, but you kept saying retiring, but you said it one too many times. I'm like, you're not actually retiring, are you? And you're like, no, I don't.
I was like, yeah, I know. On that call, I was like, yeah, this is it, man. I was like, I'm done. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been fun. I was like, Jaden, do great for me, man.
I
I'm
was like,
dipping out.
what?
Like,
You're
just,
literally, and that's what I was trying to say. And I say it in like the opening monologue, but you have been the longest creator I've known that's been a part of, like, you've been a part of my life in that way, that like you have been a part of it since the start of me just even becoming this content creator, even being called a content creator online. And what you just mentioned about, you know, you get to know creators left and right, and they will just drop like flies. They just quit.
Yeah, dude.
They just quit. I've had people I've collaborated with that don't make videos anymore. They aren't content creators anymore. And I'll never know like what happened or just whatever. And so, and y'all say it again, I said it earlier, but it's just so great. Yeah, it's so gut wrenching.
Okay, you're going that way. I was like,
so
I'm saying
great
gut
to see
wrenching
them
watching
lose.
these
No,
people.
I wasn't going that route.
So great to watch the competition get the hell out of here. That's what I'm saying. More room for us. You know what I mean? Give us your following. I just want to be famous. That's why I'm here. That's the only reason why I'm on this podcast right now, dude. You think I enjoy talking to you? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to go on a little rant right.
I just want to be famous. I'm gonna name the episode. I just want to be famous.
I just want to be famous. That's it. No, but dude, like it's just like watching people quit. It's like, man, like it's like I think honestly, even if my page dies, I'm gonna start another page. Like content creation has been in my blood for the past 12 years. Like I can't step away.
Yeah,
I've done
and
it forever.
I completely agree. And what I was saying was I was saying it's so reassuring to see you, who I've known for so long, just do so well and stick with it. Like it's been a very, almost even just like in my own life, like that security, like feeling like, oh my gosh, I know someone. It's almost like it's almost like working at a business and like everyone you know is like gone. It's like, you're like, well, at least Nick's still here. Nick is still a part of it. Like you see coworkers come and go, but yeah, you've been with it since the start, which
likewise, bro. I mean, it's the same. It's the same with you. Like anytime I'm like, okay, it's over. I'm like, well, Jaden's still in this. I gotta hang in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'll go. I'm like, well, how's Nick doing? Okay, 80 million views last video. All right. Well, I guess I'll try again. All right,
dude. Yeah, dude. No way. That's honestly that's your stuff. Like that's
no,
like reverse.
You'll
I feel
make
like
a video. I'll say this. I get consistent. I think it is because like my face and just like that branding of like, I've created an algorithm for me that I'll typically get like, and it's so great. And this is scary. You ready? And this isn't, I'm not saying this like in a pretentious way. I say it in like a very scary way that's like really messed with me mentally, but there's not a single video in the past year plus on YouTube that isn't that, you know, like non-sponsorships. Okay. I haven't made a single video that has less than 1 million views on it. And that is and TikTok, sometimes I'll get like negative views. I don't even know if that's even possible, but I'll just get negative numbers. But with YouTube, I'll have that consistency, but with you, it's like whether or not like you have a video that does well or doesn't do well, like then you'll just have a video that gets like, you'll just have like 40 million views. I'm like, are you kidding me?
But again, like I would rather be in your boat. Cause like those videos are great. Yeah, I'm super grateful that those videos pop off and do well. But if I could have a consistent viewership that knows my face, that watches me for me, that goes through my videos, be awesome. I would love that. To have that consistent reassurance of like, okay, these people are here. But, you know, I have like, it's like, all right, like you said, like it's like 40 million views. In the next video, it's like 10,000.
Yeah.
Sorry, pal. You thought you were doing well?
In between.
There's 3 more months of this. So lock in until you get your next pop off.
Right in between that 40 million and the 10K one is a sponsorship. That's what that's what
does it. That's what does it. I can't survive without them. Yeah, I know. Please.
No, I'm the exact same way. It's a total balancing act for sure. Of like trying to get sponsorships and making sure to keep up with the content. My mom, if it was my mom's decision, and you know, hopefully she'll get a kick out of this, but I love her so much. If it was her opinion, like she'll want me to, every video would be a sponsorship. I'm like, Mom,
dude, when I first started off, I was telling my mom and I was like, I can't do this deal. Like it's a little low and blah, blah, blah. And it's like it's like, there's too many asks and it's going to be, you know, they want a 10 video deal for $20. My mom's like, take it. They're going to pay you to make videos? Take it. I'm like, no, Mom. Like, I can't. Yeah. Like, she's my mom's the same way.
Coldest water's paying you $20 a video? Get it. Sign the contract. Sign the contract. Are you kidding
I
me?
get it, bro.
No,
Yeah.
I remember, and I'll say this because it was a long time ago, and I actually love coldest water. I calculated they did like a $200 sponsorship like 3 years ago for like 10 videos. I'm like, wait a minute, that's $20 per video. Are you kidding me? I did that. I
Oh, that's
accepted
crazy.
that, but nonetheless, I still am very grateful for working with them. Hopefully, they don't sue me now for defamation.
Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, it's so funny and so crazy and so emotional, mental. Uh, so we're like so grateful and uh, like it's so humbling and so egotistical at the same time. There's so many emotions, like just constantly every other day.
Yeah.
But I, you know, we'll ask one final question.
Mhm.
Um, just to, just reflect, because I myself, I do like a lot of reflecting, and I look at, my content and just where I am, where I was a few years ago, just even in life as well. But what is the end goal for you? Are you at the end goal? Have you made it like where you want to be? And just from here on out is like, you just keep growing and that's it. And that's, you're happy where you are. Is there more to it? Is there more to life for you in general as well? I mean, what goes through your head on whether it be daily, weekly, monthly, yearly basis? Where's the future for you?
I think it's it's a crazy question because if you were to ask me, you know, 5 years ago, this is the end goal right now. It's like having millions of followers and
Mm-hmm.
making gaming VFX videos and getting paid by video game companies to
Mm-hmm.
make promotions for their games. Like
Yeah.
this is it. This is what I wanted to do
Mm-hmm.
since I was young. This was the goal, and I'm there. And it's like, and I'm so grateful, and I'm so happy to be here, and to be able to do this, and to meet cool people, and like yourself, and make friends within content creation, and be able to support my family, and
Mm-hmm.
like, um, but I think being at this point and being like, all right, like what's next? I think the next thing is, like I do a lot of stuff where I do like I run like a social media marketing agency,
Mm-hmm.
kind of, not really. We're kind of just creating content for
Mm-hmm.
for people we help run their pages, and that's been very fun. And I'm curious, and I'm excited to go down that route more too. And then same thing with helping other people create content, and starting that new page. I think that's the route that I want to go. Is
Mm-hmm.
okay, like I was able to do this. This is amazing. I'm still doing it. It's fantastic. But now I want to like see if I could help other people to do that,
Yeah.
to reach their goals with content creation.
Mm-hmm.
I think that might be the next route, whether it's with my social media agency thing or it's with this new page. I don't know. It's like, it's really one of those things where um I'm kind of just gonna start creating everywhere, like the Grind Garage
Yeah.
and this
Yeah.
other page, and I just love creating content. I
Mm-hmm.
think that's it, and I'm just gonna see what sticks and just try to ride this wave as long as
Mm-hmm.
possible, and you know, uh, just keep it going. I hope. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah. You've reached a point where you're wanting to give back and, probably also like reach this experimental phase now where you got your main secure channel and now you can, that I'm in the exact same boat with what was like the gaming channel and then, my short circuit central community channel for like creators to like submit their own
And
content and
this,
stuff. And this,
and
yeah,
this
my
as
my
well.
God,
Yeah.
yeah, this,
Yeah, it's it,
uh,
it's kind of like, both of us. You get to that point where you're like, okay, I know what to do with this page. Like I
mhm,
know what to do. Now
mhm,
you're like, I wonder if I could translate that to other stuff. You've
yeah.
proved already that you could. You did it with the gaming page, and you like gained 1 million followers in one day, like broke the internet.
And then
But like,
stopped after
so
that.
that's just me. That's just me. That's what happens with me on a
No,
daily basis. It's like, okay, 1 million views,
million views.
10. It's like,
10
then
the
it's like, all right,
next day.
wait 2 months. So, but no, so it's exciting to like start these
Mhm.
other pages because you feel like you
Yeah.
could do it. You feel like, oh, like I know what I'm doing now. Like, you know how it just clicks. Like, you know how it took
Yeah.
so long
Oh,
for it
yeah.
to click, and when
Yeah.
you look at your old content, you're like,
Mhm.
what was I doing? Oh my
Yeah.
god! But
Yeah.
like now, you feel like, okay, like good starting frame,
Yeah.
you hold
Yeah.
the attention,
Yeah.
good editing, you know what to do, you know the
Mhm.
bread and butter, you know how it works,
Yeah, you've
and just be
become
and
not even just a better content creator, but like just in your case, a better filmmaker, and that's what's happened to me
exactly,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
and then it just feels like it clicks and you feel like okay, and then that reassurance when you go to another page and you create and then it
Mhm.
does well, you're like, okay, I do know what I'm doing. Because a lot of the times
Yeah,
it feels
yeah,
like you don't know what you're doing at
yeah.
all. Like you always
Uh-huh.
feel lost. But
Yeah, for
then
sure.
when it comes to other people, and I think we've talked about this before, when it comes to other people, you could give them a content strategy plan and tell them exactly what to do. And like, oh, this
Mhm,
is what you're doing wrong, and this is what you got to change,
mhm.
and this is how you'll grow. And when it comes to yourself, I'm like, I don't know,
Yeah,
figure it
yeah,
out. I'll post videos of glitches and stuff, and then
yeah,
maybe it'll do well. Like you
yeah,
really just don't know. So it's like
yeah.
you just got to trust yourself and be like, all right,
Mhm.
I know what I'm doing. I've done it before. I can grow another page. And I think
Yeah.
that's addicting. And I think that's what I'm excited to pursue and
Mhm.
see if I could grow other pages and create new communities and
Yeah.
meet new people. And I don't know. We'll see, man.
Yeah. No, I love it. I mean, I am. I'm in the exact same boat as you, trying to, the skit channel, skit genre of my content was the main one, and then I started, playing with gaming because I love gaming, and yeah, just doing the podcast now for more of the knowledge, just philosophy side of it all. Yeah, I mean, you've proven that you're just, this passionate individual in what you do. I love it. I think in everybody's lives, in everyone's personal lives, it's hard to always find driven people, and you're someone that I see that in. I love it. I mean, you've proven it through your channel. You've proven it just through this conversation alone. But all I can say, man, is I'm so proud of your success. I'm so proud with how far you've come. I'm grateful for the conversations we've had, the connection, the friendship we've had, and I appreciate you coming onto the podcast.
Thank you, man. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That was super nice of you, and thank you so much for inviting me on and having these conversations. This has been a blast, absolute
Yeah.
blast. And then to right back at you to see how far you've come and the growth and the success you've had with every page that you've touched. It's pretty wild and it's super
Thank you.
inspiring. And you're definitely a huge inspiration for me and what I do. Um and yeah, just again, I can't thank you enough for the help and especially with the recent uh downward wave
Yeah.
riding I was doing. It was very helpful
Yeah.
and yeah, I couldn't do it without you, man. So appreciate you.
I
Thank you, and
appreciate
I'm
it.
honored to be on this podcast.
All right. Thank you so much, man. I'll talk to you later.
I'll see you.
Thank you to Nick for joining us on today's episode. What a great guy. If you want to check out some quality work, I suggest following his channel. In wake of recent devastating fires in Southern California, I wanted to share a special verse that speaks to the current trying times to give us a little more faith and trust in God. Psalm 46, 1 through 11. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Therefore we will not fear, though the earth will give way and the mountains fall into the heart of the sea, though its waters roar and foam, and the mountains quake with their surging. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy place where the Most High dwells. God is within her. She will not fall. God will help her at break of day. Nations are in uproar, kingdoms fall. He lifts his voice, the earth melts. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. Come and see the works of the Lord, the desolations he has brought on the earth. He makes wars cease to the ends of the earth. He breaks the bow and shatters the spear. He burns the shields with fire. Be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord Almighty is with us. The God of Jacob is our fortress. God bless, and see you all next time.